Rolls in for two. Oh my.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball begins with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're counting down to tip-off of Arizona basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Off of the screen, ball knocked away, stolen by Del Orso on a breakaway, and Delhi will jam it home for two.
Del Orso with the jam. Really nice play there, able to get that loose ball and pick it up.
Feed it left for Hawkins, drives inside, shot up, banked home. Long rebound, is loose on the court, and picked up by Federico. Throw it down to Toppin. Toppin will drive inside, jumper up and good.
Yeah, that hurts right there. Obviously a second shot by Toppin on a 50-50 loose ball.
And now the shot clock off. Red Raiders can run it out. Final score, Texas Tech 70, Arizona 54. We'll see the Red Raiders in Tucson later on. Cats' 7-game win streak comes to an end. Texas Tech gets its first conference home victory.
And where a winning streak ends, a new one is available to begin. It is basketball night, Arizona. The Wildcats on the road in Stillwater, Oklahoma. For the first time in program history, they will play the Oklahoma State Cowboys on their home floor. Welcome to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. My name is David Kelly. Joined as always by Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. We are getting you set for basketball tonight in the Okie State for sure, as the Wildcats and Oklahoma State will tangle for the first time as roommates in this new Big 12 conference. We've got a lot in store for you today, so let's tell you what is coming up on our 3 hours of this program. Yeah, a little guitar there. Nothing wrong with that. This is your Right Way Rundown, and it is brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way. We will take a look back at the loss on Saturday at at Texas Tech, as the Wildcats fell in that game by 16 points, 70-54. We'll get you set for what's ahead at Oklahoma State. They lost 4 of their first 5 in the Big 12, but coming into tonight's contest with a win over the Colorado Buffaloes. That first look brought to you by Window Depot. We'll shine a spotlight on one of your Cats. We'll catch up with Trey Townsend and how he is assimilating himself into this Arizona program in his first year. A little bit about halfway through his first year with the club. A couple of interviews we've got for you today. A few, actually. Adia Barnes is going to join us. She is the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team. We'll talk to Adia Barnes coming up. Jeff Hunsaker, the voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, will have your scouting report. And Mackenzie Hamilton provides your view from courtside. She is a broadcaster inside of the University of Arizona Athletics Department. We'll get her thoughts on men's basketball, women's basketball, football, and she was on hand Friday night when the Arizona Gym Cats knocked off Air Force at McHale Center. So we'll talk to her about all of that. That is straight ahead for you over the course. We've got you till 6:30. with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. And then Brian Jeffries and Reggie Gary will take things over from Stillwater for the call of tonight's game, with tip-off coming up at 7 o'clock. 70-54 was the final, though, on Saturday, as the Wildcats saw their 7-game winning streak come to an end, a game in which the Wildcats once again offensively went absolutely cold down the stretch. Let's hear from the head coach on his thoughts on the loss in Lubbock.
You know, it was a great environment. It's my first time to Lubbock, so, I'm sure I'll be back here a few more times. So, we're going to bounce back from this. We're not going to hang our heads. It comes when, playing a tough conference. You play on the road, you're going to have some days like this, and we're not going to dwell on it. And, we'll evaluate it and find ways we think we can improve. But it's onward and upward.
Onward and that upward is up north of Lubbock in Stillwater, Oklahoma tonight. We mentioned, though, the Wildcats did not play well. They've had some issues this year down the stretch in trying to find offense at times, and that reared its ugly head in Lubbock the other night as the Wildcats just went dormant for pretty much the last 7 minutes of that game against the Texas Tech Red Ragers. What happened, Tommy Lloyd, down the stretch?
We're right there. I mean, with 5 minutes to go, it's a 5-point game. I think even right before that, we had a couple of looks to tie it from 3. I think Caleb had one. I think Deli had one. And, you make one of those and maybe it changes. But, we didn't. And then, sometimes it just kind of gets away from you. It goes from 5 to 8 real quick. And then, once you're looking at, a couple minutes in an 8-point game, I mean, it gets tough, and you miss another shot. They control the possession, they get free throws. It's kind of how you can extend a lead sometimes at the end of a game. And, I mean, I'll have to go back and watch it. But, they made a couple good shots, got a couple, we tried pressing. They called a quick touch foul, which they really hadn't called all game. That's tough because we weren't trying to foul. You want to see if your press can work for you, and I think that puts it from like 7 to 9. That's tough.
But tough physical game on top of the pressing and everything. Do you think the fatigue played a role on the end there?
I mean, maybe slight fatigue, but they're playing at home. We're playing on the road, and I thought our guys did a great job. We're not playing well, and we'll give our opponent some credit for that, a lot of credit for that. But we hung in there, and we gave ourselves a chance, and that's what we were hoping to do. And it just kind of got away from us at the end there a little bit, and hopefully we can learn from it. And I'm sure we're going to be in this situation again. I give our guys a lot of credit. I mean, it's a lot better to be in the situation we were and kind of, have the last few minutes not go your way than kind of, whether that happens in the first half or early in the second half and you're playing from 14 back, with a lot of time left. So I was proud of our guys for hanging with it. I thought that showed something, especially when we weren't shooting or playing well.
Well, the Wildcats guys missed the final 12 shots they took in this game. They missed 15 of the last 16. Dating back to the 12-minute mark of this ball game. We talked about it on Saturday, how the final 8 shots were all 3. But Tommy was right when he talked about, before the game got away, they were still attacking the basket. When you look at, you had the Caleb Love drove there to try to get a basket inside. Toby Awaka cleaned up his miss, couldn't get the putback there. So they were initially aggressive to the basket. I think Henry Vasar had another shot that was within a few feet. So when you look at, you kind of looking at the stat sheet and you see jumper, well, it wasn't a far jumper. It was right near the basket. Just couldn't get those shots around the basket to fall. And then the lead got away from them. And that's when they started jacking up threes kind of in that final 3 minutes to try to get back in the game.
And you're exactly right. I looked at that after the show, actually, and I was like, wait a minute. They had only shot 10 to that point? Until they shot the last 8.
Right.
I was like, whoa, they were attacking and they were trying to get it, but shots wasn't falling, which, happens sometimes in basketball. Of course, you want to win that game. You got back within striking range and you feel like that you can get it done, but you can't get over the hump. And you got to put it behind you because you got to go back today and win because at the end of the day, you want to split. And you would love to get the first one to get it out the way, but, you can't get too down on yourself because here you go a few days later with another big game.
The real number, guys, is 17-2. And that's what Tech closed on after Toby Awaka made the final field goal for Arizona. That took place with 7 minutes and 34 seconds left in the game. So with 7:34 left in that game, Toby Awaka made Arizona's final field goal. The score was 53-52. Finishes up at 70-54, 17-2 run. And Kelvin, as far as I'm concerned, that's on the guards, right? I mean, as far as shot selection down the stretch, when you're down 10 with a minute to go, you got to shoot threes. But when you're in a tight game, 2-point game, 4-point game, 5 minutes to go, any sense of desperation, a very physical game, their guards are having a tough time getting beyond that first line of defense. We talked about that a lot in the post. But Kelvin, I mean, as a former guard for this university, the idea that last 7.5 minutes they went without a field goal, you got to put that for a team that's averaging 20-plus assists in the Tommy Lloyd era. That really has to be creation and facilitation from the guards, right?
Yeah, I mean, we know that, and those are the guys that I was, been getting on, and you're talking about the starters and KJ Lewis, because those are the guys dominating the minutes at guard, and all it is that right there at the end, instead of trying to, get it all back at one time, you have to continue to attack, regardless if the referees are calling fouls or not. You have to go in there and attack, because the number one thing, J-Dub, like I know, I've been saying it all year, when you shoot threes, you almost kill an offensive rebound opportunity. So now it starts to break for the defense and putting them in a better situation to score, right? And your bigs are not even back to even, help cover the basket. So you have to get a better shot than that, during those times. I understand they're trying to come back. I understand you're trying to win the game. Of course, I have a relationship with some of these guys through the Summer Pro League, so they're trying to win. I understand that, but I guarantee you, when they go back and look at it, they wish they would have attacked and got some better shots.
After the game, Tommy Lloyd was asked if he thought it was a physical game.
Playing Texas Tech, I knew it was going to be a physical game, and I assumed it probably wasn't going to be a high-scoring game. And they did a good job. They did a job, and we were not going to be able to come and shoot 30-some% on the road and feel good about it and get you out rebounded by in the teens. It's just not a winning formula.
Yeah, that was the big thing, the standout when you looked at the battle on the boards in this ball game and how the Texas Tech Red Raiders dominated 50-34 on the boards. That is not, as Tommy said, a recipe to win a basketball game.
They do a good job spacing the floor, and you're forcing them to shoot some tough twos, and they missed a lot of them. I mean, the plan worked, but at the end of the day, you got to get the rebound. But, they also know they're going to shoot those shots, and they have two guys on the backside, and you maybe have a big coming over to help a little bit. So you end up kind of with 2 versus 1.5 on some of those rebounds because, if you probably look out on the backside on film, they probably got a great shooter that, one of your guys is a little tentative to leave. And, that's how it works. I mean, that's just it's a good scheme by them. And, and the way you combat it is you just got to get a little bit tougher. Our 4 men, who are good players. I think Trey Townsend and Carter Bryant. I don't know. They played quite a few minutes together tonight, and they didn't have enough rebounds. So I mean, individually, hopefully they can pick that up.
We've seen a lot of team rebounding from this team, guys. Like a lot of 3-4-4, 3-3-3, as opposed to one dude having 15. The issue for me in this game, Kelvin, is if you look at the numbers, the front court gets 20 boards out of the 26. KJ in his 25 minutes pulled down 2 rebounds. And then you look at Del Orso, that's the 3 spot, Kelvin. Only 3 rebounds from the 3. And if you're talking about a lot of outside shots and a lot of long rebounds, that hustle play, getting to those loose balls, boxing out is a big part of rebounding, but when you're talking about guys shooting from 20 feet out, those balls are going to carry them all over the place. It's really just being quicker to that ball, especially on the road, tough environment. You got to do a better job at beating them to those 50-50 balls.
And I'll say this. You heard Coach, I wouldn't necessarily say he called them out, but he mentioned their name. Let's say that. Trey Townsend and Carter Bryant. And it's because JT Toppin has 16 rebounds.
Right.
And like I know, J-Dub, if I can't get the rebound, my man ain't getting the rebound.
Yeah, he's not getting it.
My man ain't getting it. And now once I look, I mean, you have to keep up with the game. And I can remember as a player, you don't necessarily have a stat sheet in front of your name, and you're not necessarily looking up at the scoreboard to see how many actual points and rebound a guy has. But you should be able to feel that this guy is getting too many boards. And we started doing what we call face guarding the guy. When the shot go up, that means basically I'm chest to chest to him, and then I basically push out, then box out to make sure, tie him up, do whatever I have to do to make sure
in a game where they're not calling much, Kelvin, in a game they're not calling too many chippy fouls, too. It's like the chances of them calling 2 hands on a box out type of thing, face boxing, they're not going to be, if they're not calling any other touch stuff, you can be probably as physical as you want on those rebounds, too.
And thank goodness he didn't play 35 minutes. He only played 25 minutes and got those 16 boards, man.
Wow.
20 points and 16 boards. I tell guys all the time, you don't have to play 40 minutes to ball. Play hard while you in the game. 25 minutes. This man has 20 points and 16 rebounds, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on, man. Like, you don't got to play the whole game, DK. You got to put in work while you in there, and that was a perfect. He did win the rebound of the game, that game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We gave
Player
it to
of the
him.
game,
Yeah,
rebound of the game, tough guy. But you know what, though? They had guys face guarding our guys. That's why we wasn't able to get a lot of rebounds. I mean, Walker did his thing with the 7 offensive rebounds. I'm sure they wanted guys on him, but he's not a huge scoring threat. He only got 8 points on his offensive rebounds. Tobin is another problem because He got 20 points. You take away half of those, and you got a different game.
I wanted to ask you, he had that beautiful kind of lefty kind of sky hook, jump hook that he had in that game. We don't see that a lot. I don't know if I've seen a guy with that type of lefty shot all season long. When you don't see that very much, is it tough to defend it?
I think he shot it because he saw a tape of Vasar.
Yeah,
over the past few games. Like, you wouldn't shoot that, DK, unless you had some kind of fear in your mind about somebody on Arizona's team being able to get that shot, right? Otherwise, that's just a jump shot. So, yeah, I mean, that was definitely, I think, over the left shoulder, it was a right-handed kind of half hook. After an offensive rebound was that shot. But yeah, with the shot blocking presence in there, you got to shoot it over the outstretched arms. I think that was that situation.
And you got to have a great touch on that ball, and you have to have practice that. That's not something that you just do. You know, that's something that they practice, and you have to over exaggerate it, because sometimes when you're doing it, guys have the tendency of just dropping it right over the front of the rim, right? He got it. He practiced getting it way up, like 4 foot over the rim, so it'll drop. So when you get in those situations in the game, it's easy to do it. Something like the teardrop you used to see Mark Jackson used to do back in the day.
Here's a question to answer your question, DK. When was the last time you saw a top 10 highlight reel with the half hook shot in it?
Not lately.
Right. So if it's not something that's getting, you followers on social media, chances are that the young players aren't practicing stuff that's not cool.
And I wonder, is this Toppin's brother that's in the NBA? Because
if
it is,
Obi Toppin. Yeah.
Is his brother?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know where he got it. He had to shoot over his brother. He had to shoot over his brother. Come on, little brothers know about that. You know, if you got an uncle, I had guys from my neighborhood, I always had a high arcing shot because I started playing basketball on the big court with the 20-year-olds at 10 and 11. So you had to get that shot up over him. So it helped me as I got older. I could play against anybody, no matter how tall they were. Huh?
Why is Reggie Miller one of the greatest shooters of all time? Because he couldn't get by his sister.
There it is. So, yeah, Toppin, see, there it is right there. That's the explanation right there. How else you going to get it over his brother? You see his brother jump up and knock that ball out the top of the backboard?
I've seen his brother do things that
the ball
only
was stuck
a handful
up there.
of guys can do.
I ain't never seen. I done seen a lot. This dude walked over there and just vertical leaped and tapped the ball off the top of the backboard. It was stuck up there.
Wow.
Yeah. So
speaking of Toby Awaki, he had 14 rebounds in that game. Much better game for him than for Henry Vasar.
Toby's a beast, and I was proud of him for the way he competed. I mean, he kept us in that game, and Henry's obviously been playing well. Didn't play good tonight. I thought in the first half, we had some, shots right around the basket that, we got to finish, and they're probably not as easy as they look, but you have the wherewithal to get the ball there. You got to find a way to finish or get fouled, and they did a good job, having a low hole help, and so we kind of always had a guy underneath us, and just a lot of those shots just kind of bounced out, but I think we can do better in that area.
Go ahead, Bruce. About Toby, I think that's the most you played him all year. Is anything about his role changed without Previous for sure?
I mean, the situation was he was playing better than Henry today, and he was rebounding his butt off. It wasn't a hard decision. There was I didn't come into the game thinking I'm going to play him more than him. I mean, however the game plays out, you're gonna adapt accordingly.
Do you think? I mean, Henry's been showing signs where he's had that aggressiveness and toughness.
Henry's really been making progress, but I told Henry, you just can't assume. You don't show up, you don't score 19 last game, and to show up in the gym and score 21 today. Now you're on the scouting report, and you know what you got to do. You got to fight. You got to fight, and he wasn't great today, but he's trending in the right direction. And obviously there's always going to be a little bit of a regression to the mean, and now we got to figure out what his mean is. What is his mean? I don't know. We're going to find out. That's part of player development. We're going to find out. Where his sweet spot is as a player, and what we can consistently count on a nightly basis.
Hey, first thing I thought about was when I heard Coach Drew say he was a pro prospect. Was that the game before this game?
Yeah.
When I heard Coach Drew, the people out there, if y'all listen, have y'all heard me say what Texas Tech is? Baylor West.
Right.
Right? Coach used to coach under Coach Drew as well as Kansas State. If you think they're not still sharing notes and everything, when he said Vasar was a star, I said he's going to get taken out that next game. In my mind, I said because they're going to come and be physical and load up and try to take him away. One, he was already on the scouting report because you saw the game that he had. So, but with that comment, he's a pro. right there. One, to get in your head as a player because you love to compliment. People love getting pat on the back. But it's an old saying, you get pat on the back is a setup for a kick in the rear end, right? And that's what I always would tell. And I always tell dudes, watch for those pats on the back, man. Wait till after the season to celebrate your accolades.
Right. All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Much more in store for you. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. Hour number 1 of our pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived. Much more still in store for you, along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' Cay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' Cay with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingCay.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne. 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Looking for unlimited gameplay all season long? Dave & Buster's is introducing the all-new Winter Season Pass. You can pick your perfect pass and play like a Dave & Buster's VIP with unlimited access to over 140 games and deals on sips and bites. Sign up now and take advantage of this incredible deal now through February 28th. Don't forget to stop in Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials and grab the all-new Winter Season Pass. There's nowhere better to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's, the best place outside the stadium to see the games this football season.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Bryant out top, catches it to Love. Quickly left side to Lewis. Looking to go inside, nothing there to Love. Splits the defense down the lane. Dish up underneath. Carter Bryant laid up and good. Boy, nice pass. Strong move by Carter Bryant.
Carter Bryant looking to continue his ascension up the ladder for the Arizona Wildcats at both the offensive and defensive ends of the floor. Carter, nice ball game down in Lubbock, Texas. 10 points. Most of those, if not all of them, either came in the first half.
I think
of the
all
game.
of them, yeah.
4 or 5 from the floor, 10 points, 14 minutes. For Carter Bryant. Got into a little bit of foul trouble there as well, and Tommy kind of took him out towards the end of that first half of that game. It's our first look at tonight's game, though, brought to you by the Window Depot. The Window Depot, lowest prices, biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. First time that the Wildcats have ever been to Stillwater, Oklahoma to play a basketball game. These two teams have met 3 times in the past. The last time, boy, was that a doozy. The 2005 Sweet 16 in Chicago. Got any memories of that one, J-Dub?
I remember the side bet between Miles and that head coach who has a blog. That's all I remember.
75-74 was the final that day as the Wildcats won by 1 point to go to the Elite Eight, where they would later lose to Illinois after being up 17. We'll ask the voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, Dave Hunsaker, what he remembers about that game coming up a little bit later in our scouting report. In terms of Tommy Lloyd, this is, again, different scheduling here. This is, I believe, the 3rd straight Tuesday game that the Wildcats have played in the new Big 12. They'll actually play a Monday game next week. So next week will be more of a Pac-12 type weekend because the Wildcats will have just one day in between the Saturday game that they'll play here at home and the Monday game that they will play next on this upcoming homestand. Tommy, on how he's adjusting to this new Saturday, Tuesday schedule that the Wildcats have encountered in this Big 12.
There was a couple years early in my career at Gonzaga where we kind of got on Saturday, Monday. We were on the big Monday deal, and then, we kind of went back Thursday, Saturday. So, just for a majority of my coaching career, conference season has been pretty much Thursdays and Saturdays, and so you get a little bit of a rhythm in, how to prepare your team and how to take everything week by week. What should you practice harder on a Monday? Should you take a Monday off? All those things. So, I'm going to have to learn that and figure it out. The one day is there's not too many one-day preps. I don't know how many we have, to be honest with you. I haven't looked that far ahead. 2, thanks, Bruce. 2. So, 2, we'll probably have to get back into our old rhythm of preparing for those games that week. That would have been like a traditional Pac-12 week. But there's a lot of, 2 and 3 day preps. So, we just got to figure the rhythm of that out, what that looks like with days off, what that looks like with, practicing on yourself, what that looks like on, preparing for an opponent. So it'll probably be a little bit of a work in progress.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said that I don't love it because it gives us an extra day to prepare for these broadcasts in between. You're not, you don't feel like your head is quite as spinning going from Thursday to Thursday night, sometimes to Saturday afternoon. Nice to have that extra day in between. But and again, like I think we've talked about it before, just the ability for guys to rest, to have that extra days of rest, and I think that's one of the reasons maybe why we're seeing these games have been so good is because you're not necessarily playing so close together with the first game of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can get an extra day of rest, that's always a great thing. So that's probably the reason why they only have 2 of these days, because the conference probably understands that, hey, we want better games. We have tough games and, tough places to get, So, yeah, man, I think it only makes sense, to enjoy when you have those. But at the same time, the ones with the 1 day in between, whether it's Thursday, Saturday games or Saturday, Monday games, that's the same as the Pac-12. It's just on different days. So, either way, I think you got to keep it pushing because every team is dealing with it.
Tommy was also asked, obviously, now with this new schedule, Saturday, Tuesday, the team will fly back tonight. Obviously, a later game, so they will not get back until early in the morning on Wednesday. So if they practice at all, the players will likely have a day off. I would think tomorrow will be the day off for the players. Thursday will be the first day they come back to get ready for Saturday's game. Tommy talks a little bit about what the focus of Thursdays are now.
You might need to recover a little bit. I mean, it was a 4.5-hour plane ride in the middle of the night back from, West Virginia. So, there's a lot of things. I mean, I think it's going to be up in the air, and, we're always going to try to, find time to work on ourselves because that's, as important as anything. But you also want to be, you're also preparing for opponents you've never played before. And, maybe in years past, you might have 1 or 2 new coaches, kind of pop in the conference every year. You had to kind of figure out, what their deal was. But now, everyone's a new coach pretty much.
Kelvin, there's a lot of this has been kind of spread as a semi-negative thing as far as Arizona and the other 3 schools that joined, in that, like, you got to scout for all these teams that you've never really played. And you talk about Stanford scout, that's already, you're talking about playing against Corvallis. You already know what's going to happen. But the other side of that, Kelvin, is you're front-minded about all this stuff. You're not just like, oh, ho, hum, we're going to go play another Cronin team. We know what Cronin's doing. We don't really got to think about it. All these new opponents in the new conference, to me, the players, they can't just rest on their laurels from previous year's scouts because it's all fresh. It's all new. You're seeing all these programs for the first time.
Yeah, and, the flip side to that, they're seeing you for the first time as well. So, as a player, you got to look at it both ways. So, you don't feel like that, they're getting you and, getting no advantage in any type of way.
We'll hear more about that end of it coming up a little bit later from both Tommy Lloyd and KJ Lewis, just the dynamic of learning some of these new opponents that the Wildcats have not ever really faced before. Oklahoma State enters this game off a win. They knocked off the Colorado Buffaloes on Saturday in Stillwater. Patrick Sumnick had a really big ball game, and there was a reason behind his momentum that day.
This one just meant a little bit more to me. So I lost my grandfather last week, and then his funeral was yesterday. My grandma texted me. She was like, he would want you to, stay there and handle business for the game, but just make sure you play for him today. So, it just had a little extra meaning for me.
Yeah, and the game Saturday was the what they refer to as the Remember the 10 game in Stillwater, and that is to honor the team members that were killed in the plane crash back in 2001. I remember the night that happened. The Oklahoma State teams were coming back in separate planes from a game at Colorado, and one of the planes crashed, and 10 people involved with the program lost their lives on that game. So that was the game that was played on Saturday in honor of all of those people that lost their lives that day. Steve Lutz is the new head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. He is in his first season with the program, trying to bring Oklahoma State back to the levels that they have not seen since that day we spoke of in 2005 when they reached the Sweet 16 to play the Arizona Wildcats. Lutz on what he has liked most about what he has seen from his team thus far.
I have a hard time saying it. I've been impressed by the fact that at times we're willing learners and listeners and competitors, but it's at times. It's not all of the time. Like they're good guys. I mean, obviously you guys all saw we had the highest GPA in our program's history. But if we can be that good academic students, then we need to be that good of a basketball student. And when we try, we're pretty good, but when we don't, we're not very good, and we've got to be better. We've got to be better.
Steve Lutz just hired this past April as the 21st head coach in Oklahoma State history. Spent only 1 year at Western Kentucky, so it was a quick move for him to move up to the Big 12. But again, 10-7 is the record so far. Just a little bit of a slow start, but they got their second win in the conference, so 2-4 in conference play. To start things out. One of the things they've been dealing with, some of the issues, I should say, they've been dealing with have been at the offensive end of the floor.
The slow starts are are scripted baskets. Okay. But then when we don't get scripted baskets, our motion offense is stagnant. It's absolutely stagnant. And when people don't switch on us, we don't screen bodies, we're not tough, we're not physical enough to get our teammate open. And then if our teammate comes off, and let's say we call it a straight cut, he comes off to the top, well, I should end up over here. And half the time we'll set the screen and we'll go down here, or we'll wait right in this area. So now when you catch the ball up top, there's no driving lane. So we're just being undisciplined and lazy.
Yeah, there seems to be a theme there, guys. Scripted offense sometimes can be a very good thing.
Yeah, get into that motion. And the problem with it, J-Dub, most of that time when the motion offense, you can go back and look at the best of Gonzaga's teams. It's when those guys played together 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
It's when you know each other, because now I know, he's going back door. Oh, that's the shooter. You know each other and you respect each other's roles, and everybody ain't trying to step on each other's toes because you don't know each other yet. And I was thinking of that when we was talking about the scheduling and everything like that. I was like, I said, you know what? This is probably one of the easiest years, or as long as they have the transfer portal, to play new teams, because every team is new. Every team is new. Every coach has to go out there into the portal and try to get 3 or 4 guys, because if he doesn't, it's almost like he's not trying, right? So now with those 2 or 3 new guys, that's a new dynamic. That's a brand new team. As the coaches always say, it's a new team. It's really a new team now with how many guys that they're getting in the portal and everything. And I think that's why you have offensive issues, and that's why you have to call the set plays. What do you call them? Scripted plays.
Scripted, yeah.
It sound like football, right? You know how those translate.
Right.
But scripted plays where he makes sure he gets the shots and people in the spots where he wants the different shots and whatnot. But it's very hard, as he said, to get the motion game working, because why should I set a good screen for you when you ain't setting a good screen for me? Why should I throw you a good pass and you're not throwing me a good pass? People forget about those dynamics when you're actually on the court, because we fight each other every day at practice. So some of us ain't always cool with each other all the time like that. We try to put it to the side in the games, but that's the reason why the motion be hard sometimes.
You mentioned Gonzaga and few. I mean, Coach Olson's teams, were loose, were very loose when you had guards, Kelvin, who had been together for a while and could play off each other. There wasn't a lot of scripted stuff outside of, sideline out of bounds plays and whatnot. It's a real catch-22. Real quick. The most scripted team in the country by far the last 2 seasons is the Connecticut Huskies. Go watch their play. Go watch them play. And there's some sets where they're setting 9 or 10 different screens, DK, that have all been practiced, just like blocking for a running play in football, where you have your assignment. This is where you're supposed to be. If you're not there, somebody else is going to get put in, and they're going to do that job that you can't do. Now, there's something to be said about that. Why do European teams beat American teams full of 18, 19, and 20-year-old super athletes? Because they've been playing together forever, and they run set plays that they all understand exactly what they're trying to do with counters. The problem there is, as Kelvin knows, if you're trying to get good guard play into your program, Kelvin, most people at the high school level don't want to come and play in a super highly regimented system. They want to play in a system where they have a little bit of freedom. They don't have to look over to the coaching staff every single time they get a defensive rebound. And there's a balance in between those two things. You have to have both, Kelvin,
you're right, in
order to be successful. When you can't go 5.5 minutes on the road without a single field goal made. Right, that's what just happened.
Like, hey, horns down. That's horns down. Something fist, box, something, man. I need to see what's going on here. So but J-Dub, you're totally right there. I mean, those guys, as you see, they execute, their stuff. And what happens is, it's a lot of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a AAU coach in high school, coach and everything like that. And it's a failure of the high school coaches a lot of time, guys. because a lot of them can't coach those guys and teach them how to run sets and to get and stuff. Most of the high schools, they're playing 5 out. They're playing 4 out. And I'm like, you don't even have one guard. You don't even have one good guard. You know what I'm saying? So how are you playing 5 out? You know, but it's the easiest thing to teach. Is move the ball, get a shot. The other somebody
side
make it happen.
The other side of this coin, guys, is that every single person under the age of 6 foot in the last 15 years is trying to be Steph. Now they're trying to be, maybe Trey Young, like that. That's
or James Harden.
Well, yeah, and all based on that ISO, I can do whatever I want off the dribble, try and stop me type of thing, and also the ability and freedom to shoot from 30. Kelvin. And so trying to teach young players who've been idolizing these guys who have revolutionized the game at the highest level in the last 15, 20 years, it's a completely different thing if you're going 1 for 15 from deep. Yeah, that only works, Kelvin. You can only play that style if you're somewhat consistent. Right. So that balance of getting guards to understand that a system and some kind of set plays is really the way to get buckets and then given freedom. That's really what a lot of college coaches right now are dealing with.
Yeah.
All right, that is our opening view of tonight's game between Oklahoma State and Arizona. And your first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices, biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every night. It's the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. Could be one of the other guys. We'll tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up tonight on Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, the post-game show. Lots more straight ahead. We'll shine a spotlight on one of your cats coming up next. I'm David Kelly along with Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. No appointment necessary, call ahead's welcome, or just stop by any of the 14 area locations.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We're looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg and Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg and Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg and Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Bradley around it. Drives to the right wing, bounce inside to Townsend.
Yeah, good offense there by Arizona. Going out of that double drag, Jaden Bradley hit Townsend on the roll.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. I'm your host, David Kelly. Joined as always by the captain, Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. Time now for our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. Fifth-year senior Trey Townsend in his first year with the Arizona Wildcats. If he can have the game of his life tonight and score 29 points, he'll reach 2,000 for his career as a college basketball player. The majority of those scored at Oakland University in Michigan. Trey Townsend, again, we've been talking a lot about this free flow offense that Tommy Lloyd likes to run, and Trey Townsend, in a chat with Brian Jeffries earlier on this road trip, admitted, actually it was last week at the radio show, admitted that it's different. This offense is very different than the offenses he's been accustomed to in the past.
You know, at Oakland, camp was very set-oriented. Really, every time down the floor, we were running a set play. You know, it was wait, get to your spots, and execute this play to get a good shot. Whereas here, it's a lot more free-flowing, a lot more up and down. You know, you're scoring a lot more points. You know, here we're trying to score 90-plus. At Oakland, it was 65 on average most days, so definitely a big change there.
Yeah, big change for sure. Another big change that we're seeing from Trey Townsend is he's starting to shoot the ball a little bit better. I mean, his average is up over 55% from the floor over the course of the Wildcat stretch of winning in these last 8 games. And although in terms of his actual scoring output, that has slipped slightly, averaging only 6 points a game. But when he does shoot the ball, he's been shooting it a little bit better of late. So Trey Townsend on that aspect of it.
I think it's just a mix of confidence, but also, you know, the work I've been getting in with Coach Ken. He's done a great job trying to build that confidence, but also the skill that goes along with finishing. I'd always prided myself on being an efficient player, and now it's just getting in that offense and finding those spots to make, you know, easy buckets and not put too much stress on myself and shoot tough shots.
Well, there's no question, guys, that, you know, Trey's got to maybe make a few more baskets. I'll stand at the one thing, and then going back and watching the tape again of Texas Tech, I like his activity. He's still very active when he gets the ball. He doesn't look like he's lost in this offense. He's just got to put the ball in the basket a little bit more. There was one play in particular that I want to talk about. He had an opportunity to maybe get a dunk at the rim, and he didn't dunk it, and he got the shot got partially blocked from behind on him, and I think I kind of railed a little bit on Krivas earlier in the year that maybe he needs to try to dunk the ball more when he has the opportunity, and I'll say that as well with Trey. You if you have that chance, slam that ball down, because in this league, guys are gonna bump you from behind. They might swat you across the head, and you're not gonna get that call in this league that you might have gotten back in the Horizon League.
Well, and the reality of it is, I mean, as a basketball player, you understand the more aggressive you be, the more likely it forces a call from the ref. So you exactly right. You go to dunk that. You go to dunk it because, it's going to hype up your teammates seeing you be aggressive. Anytime you see a dunk, it hypes up the crowd. It also hypes up your teammates to kind of get you going, even if it's an attempt. Right? But you go up with bad intentions, it's going to make the defenders think about it, and it's going to make your teammates know that, hey, I'm here to play, baby. So it's just one of them things, man. You're exactly right. It's cool to be finesse around the rim and, to have the different little, shots, but you got to have that shot like JT Toppin had it. It got to be high and finished if you're going to do any little – I call it flick shots, around the rim, that thing better have a high touch on it if you really think it's going to get around some of these defensive players.
I think one of the big issues this team's facing, guys, is that Coach Lloyd likes to go inside out. He likes to establish the post presence. He likes to be able to get a guy on the block who can score buckets. And that opens up with defensive attention to that player, cutters, open shots in the corner, so forth. Kelvin, Mr. Townsend hasn't taken more than 10 field goal attempts since Krivas got injured. So his last 10 games, every single one has been under 10. And I'm not saying he needs to go out there and shoot 20 shots. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying without Mo Krivas in the lineup, who else? I mean, Tobe Waka's offensive game is coming along. He's still working on it. Henry Vaislar's not strong enough to be able to command space down there. And Carter Bryant's not ready, even if he is put in a position where he is. We haven't seen him post up much. No. We know he's got skills down there. But the fifth-year senior, almost at 2,000 points, Kelvin, that's the guy who has to establish, I'm going to score on you if you don't bring extra attention over here that opens up. And without that, it's tough because if you watch enough of these Arizona Wildcat games under Coach Lloyd, he likes to establish post early and often, and then everything else comes from there.
And with you saying that, I'm so surprised, guys, that he isn't sprinting the court. He's not like he's, pounding the defensive rebounds. I would have thought that he would be beating his man down the court, getting
like
some easy possessions like that, or posting up on smaller guards because you beat the bigs back. Post up on smaller guards and get those quick, easy buckets, right around the rim. Like I'm just confused. I mean, I know he's a good athlete, so I'm just surprised. You go back and think of the way that Keyshawn Johnson played this, and I'm just talking about in recent history, but we have a lot of guys that I could go to and talk about it. But with the way that Keyshawn ran the court, got dunks, how many times have we seen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Townsend get those dunks
and you talk
on
about
the break.
posting up a guard. Zulis Tabellas, man, I mean, that was probably the best
Tabellas,
in Arizona history at out-sprinting everybody down the court, getting a mismatch, and just sealing that guy under the rim.
Sealing right under the rim, getting the catch, turning around, finishing. You miss those things when you don't have it, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. You would think with the speed, 6'7", 6'6", probably. You're right with the speed, playing power forward. You're playing against people you're faster than, even if you're not bigger and stronger than most of those guys. Even though you're probably just as mature, I just feel like that. Where are those easy buckets at, guys? Where are those buckets? It's one thing in the half court when you're trying to learn a new set, and even in that half court, you know what you have to do sometimes, DK? Take that ball and just go score.
Yeah.
He said himself, he's used to sets. I said that I knew that, right? You put him in a position, and I ain't gonna lie to you. If I had a guy like that, and let's make sure we say this. If I had a guy that I know scored 1,800 points at a school, and I recruited him here, and I did bring him to be a part of what we got, but there is a certain part of me as a coach that I'm going to run some stuff that I know to get him going. Because how hard is that to do? We used to run the play for Tabellas, right?
Yeah.
Remember the play, the cross screen to get Tabellas on the left block so he can do his thing? And they have with the pick and roll. That they've added that, but just not enough of it for me if you really want to kind of get him going. Because he's a guy, I think, if you get him going with a few set plays, he'll open up in your spread offense.
And if people out there didn't know, Trey Townsend was a high school state champion high jumper, right? And I think the issue here is that drop step 2 foot go up strong That's not everybody's game, Kelvin. But if he's got momentum moving and he's going one direction, the athleticism is obviously there to finish over the top of guys.
Have you seen a lob?
No. So that's what I'm saying is that anything you can do to get Trey's momentum going to the basket on a, like we've seen from KJ cutting, Carter Bryant's been cutting a little bit more actively lately. If Trey finds himself out there on the wing especially and can cut hard to the basket, I mean, he has the ability to finish over the top of guys. I just think he needs his momentum to be going to the basket, Kelvin.
All right, Trey Townsend, let's hear more from him on the perseverance that he and his team had during the early struggles of this season when they started 4-5 to get to the point now where they've won 7 of their last 8 games.
Going through struggles like that, a lot of guys here haven't gone through things like that, but we've had a handful of guys, transfers, and players that have gone through moments like that, myself included. So we were able to really connect as a group of guys, get back from the Bahamas, obviously lose a tough one in Phoenix to UCLA. And I think at that moment we were really, locked in and put full trust in Coach Lloyd and the whole staff and each other and ourselves and just really believed and, threw it all out there to be where we are now.
And again, just 29 points away from 2,000 on his career is Trey Townsend. That is today's Spotlight on a Cat, and it's brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. Much more straight ahead. We're going to talk to the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team. Adia Barnes will join us. The ladies are back home this week as well. They'll take on Cincinnati tomorrow night at McHale Center. Beat Kansas on the road at Fog Allen on Sunday. We'll get Adia's thoughts on all of that and where her team sits as we begin to get to the halfway point of this Big 12 season. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, getting you set for the men's game as well. Arizona at Oklahoma State. Along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
Not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I could enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing for your next set of tires or automotive repair, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
You'll find an entire page of them online at jackfurriers.com. Savings on tires, oil changes, batteries, wheel alignments, and more.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
My helmet saved me after they crashed into my motorcycle, but I still couldn't ride for weeks. The insurance company tried hammering me into a quick settlement. No way. I gave them the bird, the eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. Nobody knows Arizona like the eagle. Phoenix to Tucson, Flagstaff to Havasu, and every bit of blacktop in between. Wherever you go, the eagle is there. So if you've been injured, don't wait. Give the insurance company the bird.
Give them the bird. Call the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And it is the Wildcats and the Oklahoma State Cowboys tonight in Stillwater. Tip-off coming up for you at 7 o'clock. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, hour number 2 of our program. Let's tell you what we've got coming up for you on this second go-around with you this afternoon. It is your Right Way Rundown, and it is brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way. We are going to take a look at your best bets over at the Desert Diamond Casino. Arizona, big favorite tonight, 8.5-point favorite. Your over-under tonight, 152.5 in this game. Your scouting report, we'll chat with Jeff Hunsaker. He is the play-by-play man of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. The Brian Jeffries of Stillwater will get his thoughts on his team and what to expect tonight in the first visit to Iva Gallagher Arena. Mackenzie Hamilton will join us a little bit later for your view from courtside. That is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. She is a broadcaster within the Wildcats athletic department. Covers all things Arizona athletics. We'll get her thoughts on basketball and a number of other sports. Keys to the game, starting lineups, and a whole lot more coming up for you straight ahead as the Wildcats get set for tonight's game against the team from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Let's get you updated as well on your scoreboard as the Wildcats and Oklahoma State Cowboys begin. I guess this would be week 4 of the conference. Week 4 is where we are right now. And a number of games on the schedule for tonight around the league. And the Wildcats then will come home this weekend where they will take on the Oklahoma. Well, one of the teams coming in is the big game, and that is Iowa State next Monday. That is going to be, right now, Iowa State obviously coming off their loss, but that is going to be a game to watch next week for the Arizona Wildcats as they get set to take on one of the, if not the best teams in the Big 12 Conference. Games tonight, though, Arizona State is at number 23, West Virginia. Texas Tech, coming off their win over the Wildcats, will be at Cincinnati this night. All of a sudden, the Bearcats are hot. They've won 2 games in a row after losing their first 4 games in conference play. Central Florida will visit Iowa State. Iowa State is a big favorite in that game, 16 points over the Golden Knights tonight in Ames as they look to go to 6-1 in conference play. BYU will visit Colorado. Colorado remains the lone team in the league without a victory. They are 0-6. BYU enters at 2-4. So those are the 5 games on the docket tonight in conference play. Tomorrow there will be 3 contests. Utah will visit number 7 Houston. Number 12 Kansas is on the road at TCU, and Kansas State will visit Baylor. How about TCU over the weekend getting a big win on the road at Baylor? Again, you never really know, Kelvin, what to make of this conference. Just when you think maybe a team might have found themselves and starting to play well, another team comes in and on their home floor and knocks them off.
Yeah, and that's the reason why you can't get too high and you can't get too low after a win or a loss, because it's going to be like this the whole way through conference. And if you get too low, you can end up dropping 3 or 4 games and knocking yourself out of contention to win this thing. I mean, a team's going to win this with 5 or 6 losses.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at what's happening around the rest of the top 25 scoreboard. It is your Goldberg and Osborne scoreboard. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers. Number 5, Florida will visit South Carolina tonight in the SEC. Florida's suffered a couple of losses. They are 3-2 in that really tough conference. South Carolina without a win so far. They are 0-5 in conference play. Limited schedule on the top 25 tonight, but it does include Sean Miller and the Xavier Musketeers, who are on the road at number 20 St. John's. On the front end of this trip for Xavier, they went in over the weekend and knocked off number 7 Marquette. So now they get another ranked team in the Johnnies tonight. The Red Storm in Madison Square Garden. Number 20 St. John's is 7-1 in the Big East. Sean Miller and his crew come in at 4-1 overall. Texas A&M, number 13 in the country, and they will visit 16th-ranked Ole Miss tonight, also in SEC play, as we'll take a look at the standings all told right now in the Big 12 and how things shake out as we enter into the last part of this week of conference play. Houston and Iowa State, well, actually Houston now the lone undefeated team in conference play at 6-0. Iowa State and Arizona sitting in second place at 5-1. Then you've got West Virginia and Kansas along with Texas Tech. All of those 3 teams sitting at 4-2. Your 3-3 clubs right now, Baylor, Utah, TCU, Central Florida, all sitting in the middle of the conference at 3-3. BYU, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State are your 2-4 clubs. Arizona State and Kansas State at 1-5. Colorado at 0-6.
And I hear you naming off those teams, DK, and some of them I just can't believe, and they're not going to be at the bottom of that. And all those teams can knock off somebody. We all know what Thad could do. Once he get his guys and what we seen him do in the problems he gave Arizona in some of those games made it tough for us. And then just some of those other teams down there, man, they're going to be upsetting some of these teams coming up, man. I mean, so you're just going to have to stay calm, cool, and collected, because it's going to be a lot of teams beating teams that you wouldn't expect.
Indeed, and it's one of those things. I mean, you're kind of starting to find your way through this conference, what these games are going to be like, what these places are going to be like, how this schedule is going to work. And so every week is kind of a new week, and you have to navigate your way through it. And that's really what Tommy Lloyd and his team are doing right now as they embark on this second road trip. And the first one went well. They won the first 2 games at West Virginia and Cincinnati. This one, however, has not gone necessarily as well to start with the loss at Texas Tech. Interesting, we didn't get a chance to talk to you about this, Kelvin, last week, and we'll hear from Tommy Lloyd here on it. The new rule change in Division I that's going to allow these teams to play exhibition games against D1 teams now moving forward. Let's hear J-Dub on that down at the bottom at 10-point. Hear Tommy Lloyd talking about this new change that will help scheduling in the future.
We're going to look at it. I mean, we had literally a 30-second conversation on it yesterday. We're 100% focused on this road trip, starting with Texas Tech. So we didn't make any phone calls or talk about potential, exhibition games. But I do appreciate the flexibility. I mean, I think you should have some flexibility there, because at the end of the day, as a coach, you like a little freedom to do what's best for your program to prepare your team for the season.
What do you think of that, Kelvin? Exhibition games against D1 teams.
Yeah, I don't see no problem with it. The only thing that, I would hate for some of those smaller schools that were getting the opportunity for their kids to be able to play against D1 schools. I feel, a little bad for them because that's your one shot to get a chance to see, what you got. One of my guys, Andrew Leonard from Cienega over there, he was at Western New Mexico, and he had a chance to play, I think it was New Mexico State, and had a chance to put up some buckets against them. So you get a chance to show that, I could have if I got that opportunity at that level. So I feel for them. But SMU in Oklahoma State played in an exhibition for a charity earlier this year.
Yeah, so we mentioned that. Some of the teams have already actually started
Duke
doing
and ASU,
that,
right?
Duke and ASU also played.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, they did. So, so there that is. So it's something that they're thinking about. One more thing I'm saying. Did you hear about the 30% rule?
Yeah, and that for JC players.
Well, no.
No, they said basically the football deal.
Okay,
we've talked about
for Division I players.
Yeah. Okay, y'all talked about it already?
No, we haven't really because it just came down.
It did,
and we didn't have a show on Monday. But yeah, the 30% is just a no-brainer, right? I mean, if you get a guy who plays in one game, Kelvin, and then gets an injury in football, that guy gets his redshirt year.
Right.
In
You get
basketball,
3 games. No, 4, right?
Well,
in
that's
football?
but even just one
football,
game.
yeah.
If you play in one in the past, if you play in one game in college basketball, you get injured in game 2. That's a year.
Yes,
and that's just not right.
So what would 30% of what do they play generally? 33 regular season games. So what are we looking at? About 9 games there. If my U-High math is correct.
I said 33 is 11.
33 times 30% is about 10 games. So you could play. That's a lot. That's a heavy amount of games right there. Yeah.
So the big man that we have this year that only played in one game, I hope that rule helps him because so far he's played in one game, I believe.
Oh, Emmanuel Steffen.
Yeah, Big Steffen.
I think he's actually played in 2. At least 2, maybe even 3.
Well, I hope he can keep his red shirt.
Yeah.
Real quick, back to the D1 stuff. Back in the day, Kelvin, it was Marathon Oil. You might see the Soviet national team. And the reason for that is because you didn't have 25 pro leagues around the world. Like, you could play pro ball in Australia now. You could play in any number of European countries. They didn't have that back then. So to showcase 23, 25-year-olds who had played college basketball that didn't quite make it to the NBA level yet and giving them an opportunity to get there, that's what it used to be in the exhibition games for college basketball. That world doesn't exist anymore. And now you got a situation where, yes, you want to get some of those smaller schools, but you've also got the multiple team tournaments, right? So you've got those. How many of those tournaments are there now these days? So the whole what was it, Canisius, those kind of deals where you get a smaller school. Who's the one from the Maui Invitational host who beat Houston that one year, right? I mean, you still have opportunities for those small schools, Kelvin, to make a splash in an actual tournament, in-game, a game that actually matters, an in-season, game. What I was telling DK when this news came down is you got all these situations where you get a recruit and you try to get, an opportunity to go visit their family and have their grandparents watch them play in the building, right? And somewhere nearby where they're at. Well, if you have a lot of D1 stuff, there's a lot of levels to D1 schools, right? Like, not all D1 schools are Arizona and Duke and Kansas. I mean, there's a lot of smaller schools at that level as well. So I just think it's unnecessary to prevent them from being able to do that. I just want to see, like you said, if they have 4 games or 3 games and it's exclusively against Power 5 D1 schools, that's going to be a problem. I hope that they still maintain some kind of connectivity, especially to in-state schools for some of those exhibition games.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us that number if you have some thoughts on Arizona basketball that you want to share as we get set for tonight's game in Oklahoma, Stillwater. The Cowboys and the Wildcats. Our guy Fred Scheib from New Jersey checks in. Good Caleb or bad Caleb tonight? I hope Arizona can play tough, not get shoved around like other games, play tough defense without fouling, and I hope they did a lot of shooting practice. Last time, couldn't shoot or rebound, and well, all around soft.
Did you hear what Coach said about that, Kelvin?
What did he say?
They do all the shooting on the side, is what Coach said. So Coach is talking about how like he lets the players worry about their free throw shooting and whatnot on their own. Now, we've heard Coach Lloyd talk quite a bit about how they've got their A, Bs, and C reads for each shot selection. Like, that's the way the terminology that he uses. But relative to, if you have a bad game, 1 for 14 or whatever, he's not getting them out there to shoot 100 threes each. Or he's worried more about the philosophies of the motion offense and the defensive rotations than he is about your shooting stroke. And I don't know what it was like when you were in college and you were doing shooting drills or whatever. I certainly spent a lot of time in the rec with a bunch of players working on their shot, working on their form, but that had to have been a part, right? Like some part of practice. Guards and bigs get separated. We know how that all works.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as getting some shots up within the structure of practice or the offense, a little bit of that anyway.
Yeah, and I'm sure he always talking about the one coach. I forget his name right now. That's always working with the guys. Guys always mention him.
Ken.
Ken,
yeah,
Ken. I'm gonna go with Ken.
Nakagawa.
So Ken works with all those guys. So right there, you always hear those guys talking about, hey, working with Ken. Ken is building my confidence. So there's work going, and they're putting the work in, right there. But as a coach that runs free flowing offense, you don't want to. Get a guy shooting 1,000 shots, because guess what, DK? He's going to get in the game and shoot 1,000 shots. So as a coach, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about A, B, C. If A is open, we'll take A. But if B, we want the better shot or the best shot. So that's what we're trying to do there. And really what it comes down to, I go back and I watch the Gonzaga games. It comes down to whoever believe in themselves the most. You go back and watch Adam Morrison. You watch a lot of the offenses from Gonzaga was, wow. That guys were getting shots up. They're moving the ball. Random guys are getting shots, and it works. Until you get against teams that are a little bit more disciplined and physical.
I remember Richie Fromm. That was the first guy I remember up there.
Richie Fromm?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I don't remember that one.
But that was the very early. Like, that was their first Sweet 16 run. Like, the Zags first.
Munson?
No, it was like right after Munson left. Okay. I think it was like Few's first few years. But they've always had guys out there. Yeah, the idea of just getting into your shot. You mentioned ABC. There's no time for EFG, right? With a 35-second shot clock, you got to get into something. You got to get into it with purpose.
All right, our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball. Baseball, a little bit early of that, but that's around the corner. Of Arizona basketball is getting closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of our pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. Much more straight ahead, along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. No appointment necessary. Call ahead's welcome, or just stop by any of the 14 area locations.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit visit rightwayac.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rocking K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the Diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Ogden Nation.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
The Fresh Start Savings Event is on now at Royal Buick GMC. Save $15,000 off a new 24 Buick Enclave or get 0.9% APR financing and make no payments for up to 90 days on select Buick and GMC models. Plus, save with low-cost leases. Choose a new 2024 GMC Terrain for $399 monthly for 39 months with $1,250 down. All taxes and fees included. Or lease a new 24 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro Crew Cab for $475 a month for 36 months with 0 down. See dealer for details. B33506, G8449, G8452. OAC must finance with GM Financial. Plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Lease mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 per year. Offers end 3/3/25. Save during the Fresh Start Savings Event at Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
Over the rim, no good. Rebound, battle for it, taken away by Federico. New 20, inside, back to Federico, and he'll jam it home.
Yeah, the second shot's right now. Once again, Arizona, we talked about it. It's got to be one shot and done. They are, Texas Tech, able to get a second look.
Federico with that rebound jam for Texas Tech and their 70-54 win Saturday over the Arizona Wildcats. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball rolls on. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, the pregame show here on Wildcats Radio 1290. I'm your host, David Kelly, joined by Kelvin Efond and J.W. Madden. Right now, we're going to talk to the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team, who joins us coming off a win at Fog Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas over the weekend over the Jayhawks. Adia Barnes and Adia, a road split. You guys have been very good on the road in this conference. Apparently, this whole new thing is not scaring you guys.
I know. We're better on the road than we are at home, unfortunately. That's just the bad part. We're usually flip-flop opposite.
What did you kind of like about the way that the girls bounced back from the loss at Kansas State?
Well, I love the fact that we just didn't lay our heads or just think negatively when we lost 3 games in a row. We lost to 3 good teams. And the first one on the front end of that was Baylor in overtime, so that was deflating for a young team. And then Iowa State, we did not perform well. That was probably one of the worst games of the year. And then to bounce back and, play Kansas State, that's a really good team. We did some great things, even though they're just better and we lost. And then just, I'm proud of the Kansas at the end of that. on the road for 5 days, figuring out a way, and actually played better basketball than we had been in a while.
You mentioned,
proud of that.
you mentioned young team, and people think, okay, well, you had the three freshmen who got a lot of playing time last year, but they are still young, and this is a team that the way I've kind of viewed it is doesn't really have a lot of strong veterans that have been there before, that have played a ton of minutes. I know, Isis Bay is in the lineup this year, but she was more of a reserve player up until this year. You lose it as Mary Martinez, you lose a Helena Puello, who have played in a high-level games, and now you're asking these players in their second year to kind of be the folks that lead you, and that's not necessarily easy, even though they got a lot of playing time last year.
No, it's not easy because even if you remember from last year, most of them didn't get a lot of playing time until the end of the year. So it's not like they played a whole season playing a lot. And the main thing is they are freshmen, so it's just that game experience and just the time and just the experience in those tough situations isn't there. So although they are more experienced and more mature than freshmen, they're still only sophomores. And remember, Montea is a freshman, so mixed in with that freshman group, sophomore group, is freshmen like Montea, Mylene, Lauren. So a lot of times on the floor we have freshmen and sophomore.
Adia, this is Kelvin.
Hey, Kelvin.
How are you doing? So what I was going to say was it's basically like they're freshmen again because of the new conference that you guys are playing against in a whole new environment, traveling to new places. So, just even understanding how to travel to some of these places, looking at some of the surroundings, which is a lot different from the West Coast. I always tell people I came to Arizona so I can go to L.A. and Oakland and Seattle and visit those places. And now, we're in the Big 12, back where, around my area, Texas, and you're going to some of these cities. But it's almost like they're freshmen again, right?
Well, yeah, and I think it's a whole new conference. It's extremely different. I remember I got a glimpse of what Russia. I remember how I used to play in Russia. That's what Kansas and Kansas State felt like, so I don't miss that. But I think not only that, just the adversity throughout the season and what that looks like and feels like and how to navigate that. And I think you've seen a lot of that with Skylar and Lauren and even Montea. Just when things are hard, how do you get out of the funk when you're in a funk, or when you don't play well for a couple of games, how do you get out of that? And I think that last year the balance with Helena, which was a fifth year for us, and as Mary, they've already navigated those things, so you really got more consistency with that older group. And I think just as young players, there's going to be inconsistency, and that's a part of the process.
We're chatting with the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team, Adia Barnes. Ladies are back home this week for a couple of games against Cincinnati on Wednesday night, and then West Virginia will come to town over the weekend. Another doubleheader on Saturday for both the men and the women at McHale Center. So what you mentioned, obviously, it's been a flip. You guys have played well at home or on the road. You haven't necessarily played well at home, but some tougher competition at home. What do you want to see this week on this homestand to maybe begin to kind of turn that home thing around?
Well, and that's the thing. People don't realize we have played better teams at home. So I think that's a little bit of fool's gold. The numbers are skewed in that sense. But, I think the main thing is we can upset some better teams at home. So that's what I want us to be able to do. Go on the road, split some games on hard trips, and then figure out a way to maybe upset someone at home. I think that would put us in a good situation. We're playing Cincinnati that can beat anybody. They're extremely athletic, and their guards go downhill really easily. So we have to guard them because they're more athletic than we are. And they play very hard and physical. And then the good thing is then we face West Virginia. They have a lot of similarities, but they both press and dynamic guards and get up and down the floor. So I think that our preparation is good for the week here at home. So we want to win some games at home for sure in front of our 8,000 fans.
Jada Williams is averaging about 30 minutes, scoring 12 points. Obviously she's so valuable. You got to keep her on the floor. For this team, are you trying to find ways to manage that so that she doesn't wear down towards the end of the season?
Absolutely. She's at about probably 34 minutes a game in conference. So
wow.
Definitely, because it's a long season, and the reality is we don't have like another true backup point guard. So I think putting Pauline at the point or Lauren or Mylene, they're not natural point guards. So we've really had a hard time taking Jade off the floor. Last year we had that with Helena. So that she took away a lot of pressure, and she was a very, very good passer. And I think that also Jada's learning how to be a pass-first point guard. She's always been a scoring point guard. So she's also young, and she's young in her growth, and she's learning too and getting better. So I think that's been a challenge. And, we don't have a lot of depth at the guard position. So when you see sometimes our reserves are just like, let's say, Lauren and Montea. Well, Montea is really a forward that we have at the guard. So we're just a little slim from the guard position.
And I think that, am I wrong? Is she your best defender? Guard defender?
Jada.
Jada, I think she's morphed herself into being a good defender. She's not extremely athletic and she's small, but I think her work ethic and her mentality has made her become a good defender. Now, if you even asked Jada if she can be able to play our type of defense, she would have said, hell no. But, she figures it out. She works her butt off, and she's got that will and that mentality, and that's a separator for her. She's a dog, and that's what I love about her. It attracted me to her. So she was going to get good at that. Now, if other people had her mentality, I think it'd be a totally different story. But, people like Lauren, she's always been such a great scorer. She's learning to play defense, and all of it's new. So they're just getting better daily, but it's a process.
Did you think you'd be getting out of Lauren what you're getting out of her in terms of the offense?
No, I didn't think so early. I knew that she had potential to be just a great scorer, and I didn't think she would pick up stuff so fast. I thought it would take her longer to adjust, and I've been really, really pleasantly surprised of what she's done and how she's adjusted. And I think she's been so valuable to us.
Maylene's a little bit in front maybe in terms of your international players than Katarina Nezovic, but what kind of player do you think Katarina can be for this program?
I think Katarina is a player that can be a really good 4. She's not ready to be a 3 at our level just because of the ball handling stuff, but she could be a really dynamic 4. So I think it's just teaching her some of the fundamentals if she's playing in the post, and it's completely different. But I think she could be really good. I think it's just, will she have the patience to not settle for that immediate gratification and kind of go through the process of getting better? Now, Maylene, I think, is just one of those players who plays with so much heart, so much hustle, such a great attitude. So I think mentally she's able to overcome a lot more and just adapt a little bit easier.
There was a play a couple weeks ago that kind of crawled under my skin just a little bit, and it was a play that Sanaya Ja made where she kind of threw the ball, threw a lazy pass, and then didn't get back on defense. I believe it was in the game against Baylor. Can you teach players to I mean, is that a teachable moment there when you encounter a player who is upset about something they did at the offensive end, but then doesn't realize, hey, I gotta flush that right away and get back
David,
on defense?
If you were me, you'd be pulling out your hair. Or you already don't have any hair, so you'd be okay. But you deal with that. Okay, so that's an everyday coachable moment in practice. It happens all the time. I think, but that's the mentality in the immaturity. That's why we always say the best thing about a freshman is they're going to be a sophomore or even somewhere young, because it happens all the time. So I think the resiliency of this generation is it's too many excuses. It's too much that pass is made for this because that person. And you see that a lot with a lot of players. So I think it's just teaching them, hey, you can make a mistake, but work your butt off and get back on defense, make a great defensive play, and it just takes away that mistake. And I think these kids that nowadays, you see them wailing, arms flying, I want to pull out my hair, trust me. But then I remember I'm on national TV, so don't go crazy. Or else I'll pull a Tim Mulkey and throw off my jacket sometimes. I feel like that sometimes, because it drives me bananas, because I was not that type of player.
No, you wasn't. I can vouch for that. I was right there with you.
I was the type to yell at my teammate, though, and people, didn't have great things to say about me. So they're like, stop turning the ball over. But, if I turn that's the thing about Aerie. Aerie could take shots and turn the ball over, but she was the first one diving for a floor, running back. So you wouldn't say anything. You can live with the mistakes. I think the kids nowadays are just so emotional. It's like the sky is falling when you turn over. No, it's just hustle back. You turn it over, you better be the first one back on defense.
Right. Exactly.
So it's just the mentality and the kids nowadays. There's always an excuse. And usually it's my fault. It's well, I didn't know this. It's oh, you do that. I didn't say that.
Yeah, you didn't show
don't
me
use
that.
me as an excuse. Good try. Or one time, at one point, and I'm going to laugh because Paulina would tell you this. She would laugh about it. So there was one game, and it was a Baylor game. Jada should not have thrown the ball because Jada's the point guard. But Jada threw the ball to Paulina. It damn near hit Paulina in the back of the head. And then Paulina tried to say, well, Coach was talking to me. I said, Paulina, no, I wasn't. I was way on the other side. And she kind of laughed like I wasn't. But I was like, I'll take it for you this time. You can say I was talking to you. But I really wasn't. But I just laughed because they're just kids and they're young, you know?
Oh, my goodness. I know what you're talking about.
I know.
Outstanding.
I wasn't like, I wasn't who talking to who. I was looking around like, you weren't talking to me. I was 10 feet away, but it was just funny. But they are. We were talking about 17 to 22-year-olds at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So.
Well, Dia, continued success. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. 2 games coming. You guys are doing also a lot of meet and greets. Is there any more meet and greets coming up for fans in the future?
There will be. Now that you reminded me, that we've had a lot because I really wanted to dedicate this series to the fans. Like the fans in Tucson, whether we're better. I knew this year we're down a little bit. We're young, and that was kind of like a strategic thing to be young and build our young players. But I wanted to tell the fans, thank you for being with us through thick and thin, and so that's why I kind of dedicated this year to the fans. But I will be having another meet and greet soon, and I'll make sure I get that out to you.
Outstanding.
They've been really successful.
That's awesome to hear. Awesome to hear. Dia, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Kelvin.
All right, tell you.
Dia Barnes, the head coach of the Arizona women's basketball team. Again, they will be home this week for a pair of games at McHale Center Wednesday night. The Wildcats will take on the University of Cincinnati. I imagine probably the first time the Bearcats have been here to Cincinnati. In fact, this will be the first time that these two teams have ever played in a game. This will be the third consecutive team that the Wildcats, I don't think, have played here at home because they have played Kansas before. They played Kansas here a couple of years ago. I don't think they'd ever played Kansas State before. But first ever meeting with Cincinnati, and then West Virginia will come to town on Saturday. Again, I mentioned earlier, that's a doubleheader, another doubleheader Saturday. That's the one thing about this Big 12. We're getting a lot of doubleheaders where the men and women are both home. Now, the last time it was women early, men late. This Sunday, it's going to be men early at 1 o'clock, ladies in the evening at 6:30. So a chance to spend your entire day at McHale Center and cheer on your Wildcat Hoopsters. Should be a lot of fun. All right, still straight ahead, we are going to chat with the voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. His name is Dave Hunsiger. We'll get his thoughts on his team and see what he remembers about that last time these two teams got together. It's interesting. I don't know if this is an omen or not, but in their game notes, I just put this tweet out there. In their game notes, they've already put a final score in for this game tonight. 96-60, Oklahoma State wins. And they also list their coach for this game as Eddie Sutton, the legendary Eddie Sutton, who, of course, has passed away. So if Eddie Sutton's coming out of the grave to coach tonight, we may just lose by 36 points in this game this evening. So I don't know if that's an omen, but that's what it said in their game notes.
Is Doug Gottlieb playing?
I don't know if Dougie's coming back for that one. I don't know. The first 2 times these two teams played, they played in actually a home and home back in 93-94. They played it was not actually a home and home. They played the one game in Phoenix, and then they played the other game in Alaska.
You played that game, right?
Yeah.
I was there.
Yep.
I think I got my first bucket.
That was your
in
first game?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Maybe second or third because we didn't play them first game. I don't believe.
Yeah, that was late November.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have
Wildcats
been
won
like
that game.
10 games in.
73-63. Rayos led the Wildcats in scoring that game with 18. The first meeting the year before in December of 93 in Phoenix, Wildcats won 97-84. Damon Stoudemire had 22 points in that game. And then the Sweet 16 game in Chicago in 2005, Wildcats win it 79-78, 19 by Hassan Adams and Salim Stoudemire.
Channing was on that team, too. Jawan McClellan was on that team.
You know who their best player was when we played?
Who's that?
Big Country.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Reeves.
Brian Reeves.
Yeah.
Brian Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
He was a monster.
He was. He was indeed. All right. We will have much more coming up for you. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
Not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing for your next set of tires or automotive repair, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
You'll find an entire page of them online at jackfurriers.com. Savings on tires, oil changes, batteries, wheel alignments, and more.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
Time now for our look at today's Wildcat opponent. The scouting report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there, and pleased to be joined by the voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, Dave Hunsaker. It is Arizona and OSU tonight for the first time ever in Stillwater. And Dave, what's it like having some of these new unfamiliar teams coming into town, coming into the conference this year?
I think it's fun, especially when you think of Arizona. I mean, no offense to Colorado or Utah that'll be coming in later in the season, or Arizona State for that matter, but we were discussing this yesterday. When's the last time we had a blue blood outside of Kansas in Gallagher-Iba? And you could put Baylor in that category too, I suppose. But, someone that really is locked down as a long-time national power. And it was Gonzaga back on New Year's Eve of 2012. That was a Gonzaga team that was a number one seed in the NCAA tournament. Oklahoma State had Marcus Smart. And ironically, as a freshman, Marcus Smart missed 2 free throws that would have tied the game with 7 seconds left, and Gonzaga left here with a 1-point win. So, yeah, this is really unusual. We just don't get many teams to come in here in the non-conference. So to have Arizona coming in is I'm fired up. It's exciting to me.
David, you sound like a guy that's got a very vivid memory. So tell me what you remember about March 24th, 2005, when these two programs last hooked up in the Sweet 16 in Chicago.
Do I have to? We talk about that game a lot, and a little backstory on that I think your fans will find interesting. James Dickey was the longtime assistant coach to Eddie Sutton, and he also worked for him at Kentucky, and he was head coach at Houston for a period of time. And I remember walking out of the pregame meal after he had presented the scout. We were walking over to the elevator at the hotel in Rosemont, and he said to me, if we win this one, we'll win the whole thing. The matchups, he said, I think the matchups are good the rest of the way. We can beat Illinois and Chicago because we match up so well with them. And then he looked at me and said, if there's one that's going to get us, this one's it. And they did. Thanks to Stoudemire with about 10 seconds left. John Lucas just missed a shot that would have won it for Oklahoma State. So, yes, remember it vividly. And, it was ironic. Joey Graham was an All-American at Oklahoma State and played the NBA for 6-7 years. And it was the only game in his Oklahoma State career when he scored 20 points and we lost. The only one was this last one. So, it was a great game. Two really good teams, Coach Olson and Coach Sutton, who had huge amounts of respect for one another. And I also remember this story, if you don't mind. Sean Sutton had the scout on Illinois, and Lute and Coach Sutton were talking in the back before they did the news conference after the game. And Lute told Coach Sutton, he said, I don't know if we can beat Illinois. I don't think we can beat them. And Coach Sutton said, you absolutely can beat them. You absolutely can beat them. And Sean thinks you'll beat them. And, of course, the Wildcats had a big lead. It got away at the end. So that was unfortunate that Arizona didn't finish. They certainly played well for about 35 minutes that Saturday in Chicago, but just couldn't hold off the home crowd and the Illini. So, I remember a lot about that season, even though it's been 20 years ago.
Yeah, just like you didn't want to talk about that game, our folks don't want to talk about that Illinois game too much.
I don't blame you. I watched it, and I felt an agony for all the Arizona fans. I was pretty my daughter had become an Illinois fan that year. She was really young, but she liked Dee Brown. I mean, how could you not like Dee Brown?
Right.
So she was pulling for Illinois. I was just kind of neutral. Gosh, because we've all been there. But boy, to have that happen in an Elite Eight, I know that one stung, I'm sure. But you've got a national championship and a lot of success to be proud of. So for Oklahoma State, we've not been anywhere near that since, guys. Nowhere near that since. So that was kind of the end of an era for Oklahoma State in some ways.
We're joined by Dave Hunsiger. He is the play-by-play voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. It is your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there. New coach this year in Steve Lutz. What has kind of been the early returns on him? Obviously, some struggles to start Big 12 play, but how are folks taking to this new system?
Well, I think they understand, first of all, that, it took Oklahoma State a while to get a coach, 2.5, 3 weeks. And last year, for the only time, because they changed it back this year, the portal opened the Monday before the NCAA tournament. So by the time Coach Lutz had been hired, the portal had been picked over substantially. And so putting a roster together was very challenging, and he did as good a job as he could, but the roster is probably not what is needed for night in, night out Big 12 competition. And then nothing against these guys. I love these guys, and they're playing as well as they can, but it's probably not quite strong enough. But they like to play fast. They really get up in you defensively. They'll get up in the passing lanes and get up the line and so forth. And there's, I think the thing that fans here really appreciate is there's a no-nonsense approach. If you screw up, you're going to the bench. And that's what Mr. Iba did here and Eddie Sutton did here. And there's a great appreciation for holding players accountable, and that's the way he coaches and wants to emphasize defense, which at times has been good, at times has not been so good. It's a little tricky with their roster. They're a little small in some positions, especially at guard, but they play very hard. They're coming off a really nice win against Colorado, and I think everybody recognizes this is just the beginning, that this year is unique given the circumstances, and you've just kind of let him work through this first year, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Dave, I always like when we see new teams and take a look at the rosters and play a game called Where Are Their Transfers From? And I see schools like UCF and Kansas and Troy and Texas Tech, and you guys have 3 guys that came from within the conference. How did that transpire?
That's just the way it is. I mean, shoot, we've got Devon Small, who's been leading the conference in scoring pretty much the whole year. One of our old guys in West Virginia.
Gosh.
What comes around goes around.
Right. He's on fire.
He's a really good player, and he's got good pieces around him that make him even better. And we're happy for him because he's a good guy. And you have to do what's best for you in the current world, but it's just part of it. Robert Jennings was at Tech, and the thing that I noticed with him from day one watching summer workouts was you knew he'd been really well coached and really well taught, and he carries those habits onto the floor. It's just a solid guy, and it's a unique set of circumstances. Of course, Bryce Thompson's been here for several years after coming from Kansas. He just played the first year at Kansas, which was the COVID year, and then came to Oklahoma State from there. So he's been around for a while, and really his career is more of an Oklahoma State career than it is anything else. But it's we got one from LaSalle and we got one from Xavier. We got 2 players from New York City. I don't think we've ever had 2 players from New York City in terms of hometown. So it's a different world.
Bryce Thompson comes over from Kansas, one of the guards that's been able to score in double digits so far this season. I'm sure you guys were familiar with his play. When you heard he was coming, what had you remembered about him that you thought, man, he'll be a good fit here?
He's from Tulsa, and his father played at the University of Tulsa, was a really good player, and Bryce was a McDonald's All-American, so it was a big deal when he came. And I think we sort of knew that you would get a guy that could sort of score in more of an old school way. He's more of a slasher, kind of a jump shooter. You don't see a lot of that anymore, but he's really good at it. He makes tough contested shots, which this team needs because it can certainly struggle to score. And, he's had his last 3 games have arguably been 3 of his best games of the year. He struggled for a while. He had a dip from Christmas into conference play where he really struggled. But last 3 games, he's been much better. And the reality is, I think the Cowboys are, if I remember correctly, they're 8-1 when he scores in double figures. So that tells you just how important he is. If he's scoring, it's a good thing. And if he's not, it's a struggle because if he's not scoring, they'll struggle to find offense.
Abu Usman comes over as well, a transfer leading scorer right now. What kind of big man is he?
He's skilled. He has soft hands. He can really score around the basket. Kansas State chose not to double team him, and they played behind him, and they paid a big price. 27 points later, that didn't work out very well for the Wildcats. He had a good game against Colorado as well, and I think Colorado got caught in a deal where Malone is not very quick. He's the big, thick guy. You guys know that, 270 pounds. And, the other bigs they have are very thin. So Abu was quicker than Malone and stronger than the other guys. So it made for a big night for him and for Pat Sumnick, who had 10 points. He scored in double figures for the first time in conference play. So he's got soft hands, really good around the basket, and a guy that if you don't give him some extra attention, he'll just back you in and score because he's big and thick. So you have to – you can't just let him get comfortable as he did against Kansas State because he just worked those guys over.
Dave Hunsker is our guest. It's the Scouting Report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there. At the top, you mentioned, obviously, Gallagher-Iba Arena, which is where the game will be played tonight. We've never been there. What's the atmosphere going to be like?
Well, Tuesday late games are a little, not quite as good for us. A Saturday afternoon here is when you want to come for the maximum atmosphere. Stillwater is a city of roughly 45,000 people, and we draw a lot of fans from Oklahoma City and Tulsa that are both basically an hour away. So an 8 o'clock Tuesday game on obviously on a school night, it got below zero here last night. My house, I think I got down to 2 below. So it's chilly. It's warmed up some today. It's in the 30s, thank heavens, because that's really cold for here. So I don't know. You won't get the full Gallagher-Iba experience tonight, but I do think for sure that our attendance will be, we'll get a significant boost because it's Arizona and they've never been here. And I think everybody thinks it's cool. And, this has turned into a school known more for its football, but its deep roots and history are in basketball. Basketball has struggled. Football has succeeded in recent years, but the deep roots here are basketball, going back to Mr. Iba and, even beyond Mr. Iba, some of the great college players of the early years of college basketball played here. So it can be, the building can be super loud when it's full. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen as much as it used to, but it's the original floor is in it. It built in 1939. It is the original hard maple floor that they have taken immaculate care of, and it has an old school feel to it with modern amenities. So I'm a little biased, but it's a pretty darn cool place to play.
Well, Dave, you mentioned football, which was going to lead to my last question to you. Both of these programs or both of these schools were picked to be in the top 5 of the Big 12 in this first year of the new conference. Neither one of them lived up to those expectations. I know what the reaction was here to our failures. What in the world were the reactions to an 0-9 season for Oklahoma State?
Not very good, because we had not missed a bowl game since 2005. So we had been living, we've been in a Big 12 championship game 2 of the last 3 years.
Right.
And so, the expectations here are very high. And Oklahoma State lost 2 potential All-Americans on defense to injury, Colin Oliver at end and Nick Martin at linebacker. Both are likely to play in the NFL and possibly even have long-term careers. And so that just set everything sideways. And, by the time you the time you look up, it's November, you haven't won a conference game. All of a sudden, you're not even competitive in conference. And it's just one of those years that here hasn't happened in a long time. But last year, when Oklahoma State lost to Texas in the Big 12 championship game, it seemed like the Cowboys caught every break known to man, every one of them. This year, as is often the case, balances out. And boy, did it ever. It was a rough year at 3-9 and a winless conference season that's led to a complete overhaul of the coaching staff. Mike Gundy, the head coach, is the only man standing. Every other position coach and coordinator was fired. So I don't know if that's ever happened in college football, so we'll see what kind of fun that brings to us spring and the fall.
And Dave, before I let you go, I'll sneak in one more. I mean, obviously we're new there's been a little bit of history on the football side, some bowl games. Actually, when I first got to town here back, around 2009, 2010 between Arizona and Oklahoma State, we've heard the legend of T. Boone Pickens, but give me a sense of who that man was and what he meant to the Oklahoma State athletics program.
He was an interesting guy in that he had several runs at success in various businesses and failed before he finally got some traction. There were lots of different things he was into, of course, oil and natural gas and water rights as well. But, the thing that was really cool about what he did was he didn't put it in his will. As he said, I want to see it before I die. So he gave the money up front and said, let's go. And so the entire stadium was redone. The West End Zone football complex was built. Other donors jumped in and took on the cost of the Sherman Smith Training Center across the street, which is the indoor football practice facility and other practice facilities. And I think the thing with him was he wanted Oklahoma State to be successful. As he used to say, he left a game in the late 90s where we'd blown another big lead. And finally, I think he just said to himself, you know what, I'm going to do something about this. I want our football team to be good. He had no tolerance for cheating. There are people out there that say, oh, he bought players and all that stuff. Oh, absolutely not. No way. If you cheated, he told the coaches, you cheat, I'll make sure you get fired. We're not doing that. So if I find out you're cheating, you just might as well pack up your stuff because you're done. So, and he meant it, having spent time with him. He absolutely meant it. But he had the vision to understand what Oklahoma State needed He had the willingness to, to really give Oklahoma State a large amount of cash to make this happen in a hurry from start to finish. It was about 8 years. We didn't have to have a capital campaign. We had one, but we were able to go ahead and do it. So very generous, loved Oklahoma State, had no tolerance for shortcuts, and his great, and I quote him often, as he told me in an interview one time, he says, "In my world, you eat what you kill." In other words, what you get is what you earn with your own hard work. I love that line, and I try my best, although I know I fail a lot at trying to live to that standard, because that's a pretty good way to live. Hey, whatever you get is what you're willing to work and earn. That's pretty good living.
Dave Hunsinger, the voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Dave, have a great call tonight. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Really excited to have the Wildcats in the conference, and super excited about tonight regardless of the outcome. Thanks for having me.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We've got much more coming up for you as we get you set for the Wildcats and the Cowboys in Stillwater. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Autumn Nation.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. CoolWillies.com.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 dock fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or RoyalKia.com.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam. Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Over the rim, no good. Rebound, battle forward, taken away by Federico. New 20, inside, back to Federico, and he'll jam it home.
Yeah, the second shot's right now. Once again, Arizona, we talked about it. It's got to be one shot and done. They are, Texas Tech, able to get a second look.
Well, the Wildcats better crash those boards tonight if they want to have a chance to win this game in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Welcome back to Meridian Wealth Management. Arizona Game Day, getting you set for the Wildcats and the Cowboys. Tip-off 7 o'clock our time. That'll be 8 o'clock local time in Stillwater, Oklahoma at Gallagher-Iba Arena. It seats 13,611 folks. Wildcats got beat up on the boards in their loss to Texas Tech the other night, the other afternoon, Saturday afternoon in Lubbock. And Tommy Lloyd is learning the lesson. And I think his players are also learning a lesson that you had better crash the boards in this league.
You look at, statistics, and as a whole, the Big 12 is a rebounding conference. Teams rebound. Every team rebounds. And Iowa State, one of the best things they do is rebound. Houston, the best thing they do is rebound, among other things. Kansas can be great on the glass. So, I think it's just it's a byproduct of the conference, and you have to be able to go toe-to-toe on the glass, or, you're going to have some tough nights.
It's interesting. We were talking a little bit earlier to Adia Barnes about, players getting back on defense, taking bad offense back to the defensive end of the floor. And Steve Lutz, the head coach at Oklahoma State, says that's one of the issues that he is having.
If we miss shots, we don't compete nearly hard enough on the defensive end. And obviously we have talked about, different guys on this team playing through their offense and letting a missed layup or a missed jump shot affect their defensive play. And we've addressed it plenty. So we need to get over it and get it fixed, because to be very honest with you, it's, if we're not going to get it fixed, we're going to have to play somebody else.
How, guys, do you not take bad offense, mistakes on offense, to the defensive end of the floor and then compound your team's performance by not doing what you need to do at that end of the floor?
Yeah, you can't be selfish. You have to understand basketball. I always tell guys, you're going to miss half the shots. The best players in the world miss half their shots. It's sort of like baseball to me. You can make 3 out of 10. You're all-star or something, right?
Yeah.
So
Hall of Famer.
Right. I tell guys all the time, man, like, hey, don't take it so serious, but you have to play defense every time. That right there is just an effort. That right there, to me, shows more about who you are than anything that you can do on the offensive side of the ball, besides passing the ball. But getting back on defense, first, getting back. Secondly, finding your man, finding the ball, and being ready to help your teammates. It's just so important. But I was thinking about what he said about the the rebounding. Coach said that their best skill, Coach Lloyd was saying that some of these teams' best skill is rebounding, right? And I'm like, what better thing could you say about somebody? The only better thing that you could say is that they are defensive-minded, lockdown type of team, because I wouldn't want to be known as a shooting team, right? Hey, because You can have a bad shooting night.
yeah.
When you a rebounding team, that means that you are tough, you're physical, and you're willing to do the dirty work, man. So I heard Coach say that. I had to speak on that because it reminded me what Coach Tomey used to say about about a guy being big or fast. Like he didn't care about those things about a guy. He cared about whether he was tough and physical.
There's one name that Coach left out, and that's the Arizona Wildcats. So the first year he was here, they were 10th. Rebounds are dependent upon the pace of the game. So there's a total, if you get 60 rebounds, another team gets 40, that other team might have had half as many possessions in their game. So the number of rebounds don't matter. It's the percentage of rebounds that matter. Arizona finished 10th the first year, 12th the second and third year, and third last year in the nation in rebounding margin. So this is the strength of the Arizona Wildcats team as well. Going back to your point about defense, offense, DK, there's so many lessons in life that are taken from sports. And if you ask me, that's it. That's the number one lesson we take from sports is a short memory. So anybody who played any kind of team sports, there's no time out there to be giving yourself a pity party. There's no time out there to be pointing fingers at your teammate for messing up. Hey, I was open. Why didn't you pass me the ball? Because everybody wins and loses as a group. So this isn't individual tennis singles, right? I mean, you're out there with a bunch of other players. Everybody has to take responsibility for their own actions. If you get blown by and somebody scores on you and you're worried about that during the next offensive possession or 3 or 4 possessions down the road, you got no business being in there. You need to have a short memory. You got to make sure that you're focused on what your responsibilities are. That's just a general lesson in life, right? And no better place, Kelvin, than when you're on the road in a hostile environment and something goes sideways. You really have to really find it within yourself to let that go, take a breath, and move on to the next play.
And what we say, get it back. Get it back. Get it back with a steal. Get it back with a charge. Ain't nothing like when you make a mistake on the offensive side of the court or even the defense, Ben, you come back and you get a loose ball or you get a charge or you do something to show your teammates that you're locked in because, it's just a part of the game.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take time now for your pest of the game. And your pest of the game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bpestfree.com. Who is going to be that cowboy that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin tonight? We just had a conversation with our guy, Dave Hunsiker, and I'm going to go with a guy he suggested and said when Bryce Thompson is hot, the Cowboys are hot. I think he said, what did he say, 8-0 when he scores over 20 points or something of that nature. So I'll go with Bryce Thompson, the Tulsa native, of being that guy that's going to get underneath the Wildcat skin today.
Grown man. Well, since you went with him, I'm going to go with the other grad transfer, Arturo Dean. Little quick guard.
Right.
And I know sometimes we, have issues with those type of guys.
He leads the team in steals with 34.
That's the end of the court I'm talking about.
Off the bench.
Yeah, both those guys are tough. And both people I was thinking about picking myself. I'll go with A.V. Marcellus because, again, if you're not talking about steals or you're not talking about assists off the bench, it's usually the guy who can get hot from deeps, and that's the guy at their biggest volume three-point shooter. So with a team, you've heard their coach mention 2 or 3 times they're struggling a bit offensively, especially with their motion. You don't want to let those guys, Kelvin, get any kind of confidence, and the guy who's jacking up the most threes, that's a guy, the whole team has confidence taking those shots. You got to watch out. Any of their three-point shooters, to be honest, are going to be a problem, but I'll go with Marcellus.
And I worry about him. He's one of my guys, top on my list. I always put 3 of them. He's top on my list because he plays the 4 stretch, and we've been having problems with those guys. So I'm a little,
Go get him, Carter.
Yeah.
Go get him, Carter. All right, that's today's Pests of the Game. The Pests of the Game brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bpestfree.com. What's this environment going to be tonight at Gallagher-Iba Arena?
Off to the Red Raiders. Since field goals have been outside the arc. A little short, rebound off to the Red Raiders. Quickly to Anderson, stop and pop a three. It's good.
Yeah, 5-point turnaround there. Trey Townsend thought he got fouled on the little layup, resulting in a transition three for the Red Raiders.
Both of Anderson's field goals have been outside the arc.
All right, the Wildcats are 2-1 so far on the road in the Big 12. Tommy Lloyd was asked, is it strange coming into these Big 12 environments?
I don't know if it's strange, but it's a challenge. You know, I mean, you're having a lot of teams you've never played before. You know, every game's a fresh new prep, and you know, you just don't have the, you know, familiarity. You know, when you're new in the conference, we got, you know, I guess minus, you know, the 3 teams that came with us. You know, what's that? We have 12 new scouts every time. You know, the schools that have been here for a minute, you know, they got 4. So, you know, there's just there is challenging, and you figure out how to play against people, and you figure out what works and doesn't work, and you know, hopefully we'll learn from that. We've been a program that, you know, we learn from things over time. So, you know, I'm looking forward to playing them again.
All right, that is a big difference when you talk about having to prepare to just 4 new teams versus Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah having to prepare for 12 new teams that they've never faced on a regular basis. So that is an advantage, obviously, for the teams that have been in the league prior to this. KJ Lewis, though, on what the Wildcats learned on the road that first time around that they have tried to take into this trip.
We're a resilient group. I think we know we needed that for our season and our confidence that, you know, we can win on the road. And then we can win, you know, close games, even though, you know, we kind of put ourselves in those positions. But I know we're coming together as a group, and, you know, we're learning how to win, you know, down the stretch.
All right, Tucson, it is time for today's best bets. Can the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at our best bets, brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. The Wildcats enter this game as the favorite at 8.5. The over-under, 152.5. So what's it going to be today? Now, we all took some big losses on this on Saturday, as everybody thought that the Wildcats would stay close to that 5.5-point spread. That did not happen. And the game was a much lower scoring game than we had imagined. So double L's, DK still +6. The fellas still -4. U of A -8.5. I'll start with you, Calvin, on that.
I'll take that. I think again, U of A is on a mission, and they understand that you have to get a split on the road, even though we up 1, because we won 2 on that last road trip up there to Cincinnati and West Virginia. So we kind of up 1, right? But they need this win to stay on schedule, or a little ahead of schedule, as far as their road victories that they're going to need to be able to, you know, win this conference.
Ooh, man, 8.5.
8.5, yes, sir.
That's a lot.
They had a terrible night. I'm looking at it like this here too. They lost. Tommy usually always come back pretty nice. I'm not gonna convince you. You because I'm trying to beat you. You figure it out. Yeah, I thought about that. Wait a minute. He been bragging about being up 6. What you gonna do? Yeah, I'm thinking about this. I ain't gonna convince you.
That's too many for me. I'm taking Oklahoma in the 8.5 on that. I think the Wildcats will win. I just think this is going to be a close game. I don't know that they're going to win by close to 10 points in this game on the road. So I'm going to take Oklahoma in the 8.5 on that.
I'll take the Cats just because that's a struggling offensive team. And I think one thing you're going to see tonight is an inspired defense by the Arizona Wildcats, because that's all effort. Boxing out, going after loose balls, rebounding, and defense is all effort. Shots are going to fall or not fall. But because that Cowboys team comes in with not quite the reputation of being able to put a lot of points up, I think in a low-scoring game, Arizona wins not by much more than 8, but I think they cover that number, yeah.
All right, so over-under, 152.5. Like you said, they don't score much, so I'm going under.
Yeah.
Under.
I'll go over, but not by much.
Okay.
155, 160.
All right, so we've got some differentials here today, so we'll have some movement. Kelvin, 8.5 Wildcats. J-Dub, 8.5 Wildcats. DK takes Oklahoma plus the 8.5. Kelvin and DK the under. J-Dub the over. Those are your best bets, brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. We'll talk to Mackenzie Hamilton from the University of Arizona Athletics Broadcast Department coming up next. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, and you are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Autumn Nation.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style. And top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
My helmet saved me after they crashed into my motorcycle, but I still couldn't ride for weeks. The insurance company tried hammering me into a quick settlement. No way. I gave them the bird, the eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. Nobody knows Arizona like the eagle. Phoenix to Tucson, Flagstaff to Havasu, and every bit of blacktop in between. Wherever you go, the eagle is there. So if you've been injured, don't wait. Give the insurance company the bird.
Give them the bird. Call the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Angle left, it goes to Lewis. KJ puts it on the floor. Drives the lane again. Shot up, tough one, no good. Rebound, Owaka. He answers for two. And Tobe Owaka.
Arizona Wildcats, Oklahoma State Cowboys coming up straight ahead. Tip-off just a little bit an hour from now in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Let's talk some Arizona basketball and other Arizona athletics with Mackenzie Hamilton. She is the in-house reporter for the Arizona Athletics Department. Mackenzie, we appreciate you taking a little bit of a time to join us for your first time on the pregame show. A athlete yourself out of Southern Miss on the soccer field. Tell us a little bit about your athletics career at the collegiate level.
Yeah, thank you, DK. I'm excited to be on with you guys today. But yes, you're correct. Played my 4 years at Southern Miss. Had such a great time. In fact, I was just with a few of my friends. They're going to be my lifelong friends, but met them through soccer. They were my teammates there. So thankful for my time there.
All right, so what was your mentality as a student athlete? How did you approach it? How did you approach both the student part and the athlete part when you were in school?
Oh, yeah. So I will admit I was definitely a nerd. School was a huge priority for me. In addition to majoring in journalism, I also was, a fun fact, I was a math minor. So loved math, was studying constantly. I think the word to describe my 4 years at Southern Miss would be balance. I was very strict, very routine oriented. We practiced in the morning and we did weights in the afternoon, and I built my school schedule around that. I was not a fan of online classes, especially as any journalism major would know. Those weren't really the easiest to take or even an option, especially when you got into your junior, senior year. And so I structured a lot of my things around my classes, and my coaches and trainers and strength and conditioning coaches were great too. They were totally there for us to have just college experience as well. They were a proponent of us being in clubs and doing other things too. And so, yes, balance would be my word, but at the end of the day, soccer was the priority. So it got dibs on any weekends or anything like that.
Arizona Athletics team reporter Mackenzie Hamilton joining us on the pregame show. It is your view from courtside today, and it is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser serving Arizona for more than 25 years. So how has that helped you now that you've kind of, I mean, this is what you've kind of done since you've gotten out of school. You've worked with a number of programs. I believe you started working with the Southern Miss program there, kind of in a social media and an in-house reporting role. Then you went to Auburn for a few years and worked with that program. So how is being a student athlete helped you relate to and talk with to get the stories about today's student athletes?
Yeah, I think it's just that relatability, knowing what their schedules are like, knowing kind of the unique struggles of being a student athlete, but that's what ties you together with your teammates and other student athletes on campus, is just dealing with things such as identity. You know, you go to your college usually purely based on wanting to play that sport and getting that opportunity there. And yes, there's other factors that weigh into that decision of why you choose that team and that program. But once you get there, you know, that's the driving force that a lot of times takes you miles and hours away from home. And so there's a lot of pressure with that. And I think understanding that and then showing these student athletes like, hey, you've overcome a lot. You've put a ton of hard work to get here. So many of these student athletes, and really anyone who plays at college, they're the big fish in high school. And sometimes things might come a little bit easier to those people. And so college is just getting into a smaller pool where you start over and you're not that big fish anymore. But I like to sit there, and that's one of my favorite parts of the job, is point that out to our student athletes about, you know, so many of them have amazing stories, come from different backgrounds, have overcome different injuries or illnesses or just hardships to be here. And so I really like to take the time to be able to highlight those stories and put those out there and share those with the community, because I think sometimes they're in the middle of it. They see a lot of their teammates going through the same thing, so they might not have an appreciation for what they've been through and the perseverance and the hard work that's gone into it.
Mackenzie Hamilton is our guest, Arizona Athletics reporter. So what was attractive about U of A? Because I said you were at Auburn in the SEC, and, you know, we're used to losing people to the SEC, not getting people from the SEC.
Well, I am familiar with Tucson, so not a lot of people know this, but I talked a little bit about it when I first got hired here. But my dad actually worked for the Rockies when I was growing up, so we would come to Tucson every spring. I spent months here during spring training. So I would always joke with my parents that my goal was just to get back to Arizona, that it was just always the best few months of the year. You know, we were living in Denver, so it was so cold for a lot of the year, and we would get to escape, come here to Tucson. My mom would a lot of the times homeschool my brother and I too, so it was just a fun time. We'd go to the pool a lot, go to the zoo, go hike. We were always outside. I'd come back super tan. My friends were all jealous. So that was the joke. But in all seriousness, the opportunity to come here, you know, I was fortunate enough that there was a few people before me in the team reporter position who really carved out an awesome space here just to be involved with social media and in-game venues. So I was super excited about that opportunity. And then just speaking with our creative department, because there's so many people behind the scenes here who are filming and editing and creating videos and graphics. I interviewed with a lot of them in the first couple of rounds, and I just loved their approach and perspective on how they wanted to cover. At the time, I was just working with football, but you know, it's pretty universal here within all the sports teams of just giving behind the scenes access and telling the stories of these athletes. I loved their plan and their desire to do that, and so that really sold me on this opportunity.
Yeah, what's the blueprint? I mean, you guys, I mean, we've seen the videos, and there's some incredible filmmakers over there that are working within the Arizona Athletics Department. What's kind of the blueprint for some of these projects that you guys are doing and want to do weekly, and to really kind of cast the light and captivate people about these athletic events that they go to, and maybe they're there, but then they can go home and see maybe a little bit more of the behind the scenes lead up and during kind of thing that you guys are able to provide?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it, DK. We want to provide that backstage pass to things. And so that's, for me, there's two words when I'm creating content, and it's inform and entertain. And that's, I hope to do both, but sometimes it's maybe one or the other. But I want to show people, these student athletes, like I've talked about pretty much this whole time on air, their stories, but also, you know, highlight some of our staff. And there's so many support staff, from, you know, athletic trainers to strength and conditioning, nutrition, operations, etc., all of that goes in. And so the creative team and I'm a part of it, and we have creative teams with football, men's basketball, and women's basketball specifically. And then we have a creative team within athletics. And so I'm fortunate enough to work with all of them, and we sit down and usually we create a content plan per month. Season looks different than off season, obviously, and it's just our job to structure things out. But then, as you probably know, in the world of media and social media, you know, you want to hop on trends and you want to adjust to breaking news, and you're always pivoting and adapting. But yeah, it like I said at the beginning of this, it comes down to inform and entertain. And so my goal is to make you guys get to know the athletes beyond just the field, know more about their backstories, their hobbies, their interests, why they chose Arizona, etc.
So now, obviously, you came in, I believe, almost 2 years ago. Now you've been there.
Yes.
So you worked initially with the Fish regime, and then obviously that turned over into the Brennan regime. How does that work for you? Do you have to go and you have to, now you got to know this one set of people. Now you have to go meet this whole new set of people and get their trust to be able to be in a position to tell their stories. How difficult is that?
Yeah, well, Brennan and his whole staff came in, and they were just immediately amazing to work with. And I know that too, you know, coming in, not every college, it's not common to have an in-house team reporter. So I had to explain my role a little bit, and did a couple interviews with Coach Brennan, and then started doing interviews with other coaches. And I think it's just building that relationship with them off of the field and the offices, you know, offering to do things for them as well, in terms of, you know, there's so much in-house media too that a lot of people don't see, you know, helping with presentations or photo shoots, recruiting things, stuff like that. So there's a lot of chances just to get to know the staff beyond just the things that are put out on TV or social media. And so, yeah, it's building those relationships. It's kind of the approach that I take every semester is new too, with new athletes for any team. And so that's the approach I try to take as well, is just get to know them off of camera, build that trust there, and then when it's time to go on camera, hope that trust carries over into the interviews.
Tell me one thing that, if you can, just about this last football season. Obviously, what happened on the field was a disappointment to a lot of people. But what was maybe one of the things you saw behind the scenes that maybe people are not aware of about this regime, this team, this group of coaches, about the work they were doing to try to get Arizona in a position to be successful?
Yeah, well, I know Coach Brennan actually talked about this in the last press conference with the new defensive staff, and they have been, just these past few months, grinding. I know that term is a little overused in sports, but I can't think of a better one to describe it right now, with just, hosting visits, recruiting so many guys. Our coaches are out on the road this week. They were a little bit last week. We'll have official visits on campus. It is go, 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 go all the time. They're putting in such hard work. And then I would say the thing I really admire too is seeing how these are very family oriented people, dads and a couple moms on staff too. And so I admire too how they make the time for their family, because that culture does carry over into the facility and the building. You feel that, the care for the players more than just as as people. And so I admire that about working with this staff. I recently interviewed, for example, Danny Gonzalez, and I think that stands out about him tremendously. He shared in the interview that his family has Friday ice cream days. And so, that works with season Fridays. They get a little break before they transition from the facility to the hotel. So he goes and gets ice cream with his wife and 2 daughters every Friday. And I think that's just such a good example of having intentionality with having that kind of family-like atmosphere or family-like mindset, because then you do see that within the players. This season, I think the culture of the team was still phenomenal. There was great leadership within it, and pretty much every position group had their family dinner every single week. So one night they would all go out and eat together, or I know a couple of the position groups would have some of the older guys have their position group over to their apartment or house and cook for them. And so I do think that, like I was saying, from that coaches, it does carry over to the players.
It's our View from Courtside, and we're chatting with Mackenzie Hamilton, University of Athletics team reporter. It is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona for more than 25 years. All right, Mackenzie, what are your thoughts on this basketball team? Slow start, got hot, took a loss on Saturday. What have you seen that kind of stands out to you about why this team might be able to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament here in about a month and a half?
Yeah, I think Tommy Willard has said it all season, and they're just learning from all of their experiences in all of their games this season. Being in the Big 12 now, I think he said it the other day, they have new scouting report pretty much every game, and so they're learning as they're going. And I think we've seen remarkable improvement, especially in this last stretch, especially just cohesion within the team and just playing together. That's when they are playing their best. I think a couple things, is the perfect storm Saturday of just, especially the last 5 minutes, shots not falling their way, just certain players not being on their best games, the one unfortunate foul that happened to, that they got called on. And so I'm hoping that tonight we see them play with a little bit of an edge to get back in their hot streak.
Speaking of this Saturday, you're going to be busy. There's another doubleheader. I guess we got to start getting used to these doubleheader Saturdays, huh?
Oh, yeah. And, it's going to go into February. I think we were just looking at an athletic department earlier today on top of the men's basketball and women's basketball doubleheaders. Softball is going to start sneaking in. We have men's tennis here Saturday, too, as well. Women's tennis is going to be home some of the days. There's going to be a lot happening. Gym will be back on some Fridays. It's always going to be busy here the next few months.
You know what I call those mega sports weekends, when pretty much everybody is in action and at home at the same time. Yeah. What were your thoughts on the Gym Cats this past Friday night?
Oh my gosh, that was so fun to watch. For anyone listening, if you haven't been to a Gym Meet, I cannot plug it enough. To me, it is the perfect combination of watching an athletic competition, but also a show. There's, sparkle and music and so much fun happening. And then it was just a great first home opener for our Gym Cats. I felt like every event they just built up and got better and better. And floor, they took the show away to 9.925 performances. So that was just super awesome. And it's exciting, too, to see that in every appearance they've had this season, they've improved their overall score.
All right, tell folks, Mackenzie, how they can follow you on all of the social platforms.
Oh, yeah. So I am, my name's a little long. I'm Mackenzie Hamel 8 on Twitter, Mackenzie Hamilton 08 on Instagram. But everything that I'm helping with or a part of is on Arizona Athletics. And so that's AZ Athletics on Twitter. Or now X, I should say. I keep making that mistake.
We still call it Twitter here, so feel free to make that mistake on our show.
Good.
Mackenzie, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Look forward to chatting with you again in the future.
Yeah, sounds good. Anytime, DK. Thank you.
All right, Mackenzie Hamilton, that is your view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Arizona for more than 25 years. It is hour number 3 of our Window Depot Arizona basketball coverage. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the program is brought to you by Broadway and Tucson, Cool Willie's Aaron Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. One more segment to go before we hand you off to Brian and Reggie. Calvin and J-Dub will rejoin me after this. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 five-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Looking for unlimited gameplay all season long? Dave & Buster's is introducing the all-new Winter Season Pass. You can pick your perfect pass and play like a Dave & Buster's VIP with unlimited access to over 140 games and deals on sips and bites. Sign up now and take advantage of this incredible deal now through February 28th. Don't forget to stop in Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials and grab the all-new Winter Season Pass. There's nowhere better to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's, the best place outside the stadium to see the games this football season.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. It's a new year, but we still have air conditioning and heating systems at last year's prices. We have high-efficient inverter systems for as low as $89 a month. For year-round comfort, call Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or PictureRocksCooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot. Best price, biggest inventory.
Down to Townsend, left of the lane, turns on Toppin, backing him down. Trey, little baby hook up and good.
Nice shot there by Trey Tappan. Really took his time. Anytime he's one-on-one on post, he must shoot the basketball. They are able to get the left shoulder, right hand.
Arizona Wildcats getting set to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys down in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Welcome back to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. The pregame show, final segment of our show. Brian Jeffries, Reggie Geary will have the call today as the Wildcats look to start a new winning streak after their 7-game run was stopped over the weekend down in Lubbock, Texas. We were talking a little bit earlier about Caleb Love, and we had one of our longtime texters texted in about what Caleb we were going to get tonight for the Arizona Wildcats. Tommy Lloyd talks a little bit about the Caleb Love that he would like to see.
Play better. I mean, Caleb's a good player. He's got to start playing better. He a couple games ago, he had 33 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, like one of the only guys ever to do it in college basketball. So he's just got to play better. I mean, he'll find his way. We're going to hang with him, and I know it's not coming easy sometimes for him, but he's a good player, and he'll play better. He'll play better for sure.
Well, I mean, there's no question. If you look right now, and he was the Pac-12 Player of the Year last year, and so that is kind of how he's being graded on this year. And when you look right now, how far would you categorize that he is behind Javon Small right now? Because Javon Small is the star of this conference right now, and that is the guard for the West Virginia Mountaineers, played at Oklahoma State prior to going to Morgantown, and that's the level right now. That's the level by I think a lot of the guards in the conference are being measured. Caleb's got some ways to go to get up to where Javon Small is right now.
All you got to do, Kelvin, is walk through the hallways of McHale. There's a couple of people up on those walls, right?
Wow, for sure. I think of that, and he has the capabilities to do that. But when we talk about, it's hard to compare that situation because Small is in a situation where he dominates the ball. Right? He gets to do whatever he wants to do basically in their system of play. They don't really have a lot of guys, new coach, their main player is down now, right? DeVries, right?
Tucker DeVries, yeah.
DeVries. So I just feel like it's hard to compare there, but Caleb could play better. I think when the team is playing well, which over this little streak they were, I think you got to give him some credit for not trying to go off. He only took like 8-10 shots in some of those games. He didn't go off and take his normal 18 to
right.
And try to figure out a way to make sure he ended up with his stats. He dialed it back a little bit, you know what I mean? And for a guy like now, they needed him that last game to step up, right? But it's tough because other guys have been playing well, right? So you kind of expecting like, hey, well, coach want this thing to kind of be, work between everybody. So I'm trying to do what he want to do. But which is, this J-Dub too, which is hard as a guy like Caleb, to temper yourself and to start, to try to really, even when I heard them say they was playing through Crevis and you had the player of the year on your team. I was like, interesting. you know, I understood it. I understood it because you want to go farther than you did last year, but you had the player of the year on your team. And so it almost telling him to take a back seat. So I just feel like he's still trying to figure it out, what exactly Coach wants. I mean, ain't that what you got to do, figure it out? Yeah, right? Ain't that what Coach Tommy Lois says that, right? He has to figure out how to, you know, get back to the 33-point, get back to the 18-point games or whatnot. But it's a lot of other guys on this team being aggressive right now. Everybody need to pay attention. KJ Love is being way more aggressive. Jaden Bradley is being way more aggressive. Vazar is being way more aggressive. Those are taking a few shots away, you know, especially when he's not playing well. So I actually credit him for not trying to find his offense.
But can any of those other guys –
No.
Can they win you a game that matters? I think is where it comes down to.
I mean, when things are rolling, yes, but the guy that we know that can get it done is Caleb. Caleb is that guy. We need him to play well. I'm sure more than anybody he knows that. But it do be tough sometimes, man. I feel for him a little bit there because you're trying to play the right way in the system, and that's probably not his way of playing. He's more like Damon and Khalid. Am I wrong, J-Dub?
Yeah. I mean, I think Caleb's very capable of being a Khalid Reeves type guy, Kelvin. The issue, I think, is last year and this year, you just said it, there's a lot of deferring early in the season to help the new guys get comfortable in their uniforms, right? And so Caleb's not, the first 5-10 games of last season and this season, Caleb's not trying to force a lot, right? But Kelvin Ifan, at what point do you need your preseason All-American guy who can get you 25 any given night? When do you need him to step up and push and be more aggressive offensively and have his guys feed off him? Is that stage of the career? Is that stage of the season at this point?
Yeah, because you know what it is and it's almost like it's one of those things where sometimes as a coach you got to tell them, hey, get going, baby. Or these are one of the games we're going to need you to get going because if we don't get it going early, little confidence can fall here and there because, if you look at it, 14 minutes for Carter Bryant and Vazar, right? It's not necessarily that they're fragile, but evidently it seems like the coach may think they're fragile because he didn't continue to play them. So with that being said, that's when your fifth-year guy supposed to feel that. But I'll say it's tough. Coach made Damon that guy. I remember shooting a three. I said this story before. I shot a three and made the three, and Coach said, that's not the game plan. Get the ball back to Damon. Let Damon touch that thing 2 or 3 times, and then if we don't have anything, then you guys look for yours. And that's because Coach knew for us to be the team that we were going to be, Damon had to play well.
All right, Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different. All right, we talked about Trey Townsend a little bit. You guys said he hasn't taken 10 shots in a while since like early in the year. Well, let's take 10 shots tonight, Trey Townsend. I need to see him get going offensively. Talk about Caleb getting going offensively. I think this team is going to need an offensive Trey Townsend as well. So I want to see Trey be more aggressive, especially I want to take 10 shots and be stronger around the rim. I want to see that. Now don't get upset if you get fouled, score with authority if you get the ball inside. Draw fouls, get to the line. He needs to work on his free throw shooting a little bit as well. And work it through the bigs. I think this is a big man game. It's not a very big team in Oklahoma State. So I think you can work through your bigs tonight. Townsend, Awaka, Vazar, Bryant. Allow them to be the aggressors in the games and the guards to facilitate for the bigs in this particular ball game and get back to, I think, what we know that these Wildcats can do offensively and get a new streak going.
Yes, sir. And I say be ready for aggressive play from Oklahoma State. And we have to weather early physical play.
Oregon.
Right. Have to weather early physical play. Paint scores in the inside. Got to get easy scores in there. I think we're going to need at least 35. We'd love for Caleb to get at least about 10 points getting in that lane. And then also, I think defensively, we're going to have to really lock in. Don't give up open threes or layups. I think we have to challenge everything at the rim, force these guys to beat us from the mid-range.
Yeah,
right.
for me, I think you got to guard their guards off the dribble, especially. Don't let them create and then get a penetration and assist. So I'd like to see less than 8. That's not a team that assists much. I think about 12 is their average. So less than 8 from the guards, about 45% from the field for those guys. You have to dominate the glass. I mean, this is, again, not a great rebounding team. Arizona should be a great rebounding team. After losing by 14-15 last game out, I want to see them win the boards decisively today, maybe 8 or 10. And number 3, you got to finish strong in those last 5 minutes, guys. I mean, we saw it against UCLA. We saw it in the last time out against Texas Tech. 17-2 down the last 5.5 minutes versus Texas Tech. I don't care what the score is at the 5-minute mark. I'd like to see a plus minus for the Arizona Wildcats in the last 5 minutes of this game. You have to learn how to close strong as a team. Those are my keys versus the Cowboys today, Oklahoma State.
All right. The starting lineup for any team is the foundation of success. And the starting lineup is brought to you by Rocky & K, a master plan community designed by nature. Starting lineup for your Arizona Wildcats, Jaden Bradley, 6'3" guard. He is out of Rochester, New York, by way of the University of Alabama, and Jaden on the season averaging 12 points and 4 assists per ball game. Caleb Love, 6'4", senior guard out of St. Louis, Missouri from North Carolina. 15 points for Caleb on the season. He also averages close to a steal and a half per ball game. Anthony Delorso, 6'6", junior guard out of Melbourne, Australia, out of Campbell, shooting 45% right now from behind the three-point arc, averaging 9 points per ball game. Your forwards, Trey Townsend, 6'6", fifth-year senior out of Oxford, Michigan, 9 points and 4 rebounds for Trey. And Toby Awaka, 6'8", junior forward from Hyde Park, New York, 8 pounds, 8 points. He weighs a little bit more than that, 250 pounds. 8 points and 7 rebounds per ball game for Toby Awaka. Tommy Lloyd, if he gets the win tonight, it'll be his 100th as head coach of your Arizona Wildcats. That's going to wrap up our show for this evening. Thanks to J-Dub, thanks to Kelvin, thanks to Adia Barnes, Mackenzie Hamilton, and Dave Hunziger. Coming up next, Arizona and Oklahoma State, live from Stillwater. We'll talk to you after the game. Bear down, Arizona.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year, we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 five-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
The Fresh Start Savings Event is on. Now at Royal Buick GMC. Save $15,000 off a new 24 Buick Enclave or get 0.9% APR financing and make no payments for up to 90 days on select Buick and GMC models. Plus, save with low-cost leases. Choose a new 2024 GMC Terrain for $399 monthly for 39 months with $1,250 down. All taxes and fees included. Or lease a new 24 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro Crew Cab for $475 a month for 36 months with 0 down. See dealer for details. B33506, G8449, G8452. OAC must finance with GM Financial. Plus tax, title license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Lease mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 per year. Offers end 3/3/25. Save during the Fresh Start Savings Event at Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. No appointment necessary, call ahead's welcome, or just stop by any of the 14 area locations.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
College basketball at its best.
Cats down by one. Top of the key, deep three is good, and the Cats are on top.
Wildcat basketball is on the air. The leaders of the pack have a new conference to conquer.
On the break, slam it home. Timeout Trojans, and the Wildcats have broken it open.
It's time to bear down. Get ready for the excitement and energy of University of Arizona Wildcat basketball. 38 NCAA appearances, 60 NCAA victories, 4 Final Fours, a Tucson tradition, and a national treasure. The Cardinal and Navy are here to play. This is Wildcat basketball from Arizona Sports Enterprises.
It's commonly known as the Sooner State, but that word is all but banned in the city of Stillwater, home to the Oklahoma State University. Around here, it's Cowboy country, and tonight it plays host to a Big 12 basketball